Tá fáilte romh ag na gradam alien the Cudgeon Irish Echo, Choctaw Noctis, Belfirst. You're all very welcome into the Irish Echo's Arts and Culture Awards and celebration. And it's coming direct from Ireland. It's 11 o'clock in Belfast time on a Friday night. We're coming out of lockdown, but our restaurants and bars and clubs are all closed. So what better place to be than here, joining our friends from right across America who have really moved mountains to keep our spirits high during the pandemic. What we wanted to do was have this bridge between Ireland and the US as part of the celebration because, of course, one of the dreadful side effects of this awful virus has been that travel between Ireland and the US is almost totally stopped. In fact, I heard the other day an Aer Lingus plane came in from New York with 0 passengers on it. So that's unprecedented in our time to have such a gap and a chasm between our peoples. And hopefully tonight, by coming from Belfast right across the States, we help to make sure that these bridges of solidarity remain strong and up and ready for when you can travel again and we can travel again to the US. The people we're going to honour tonight, 40 of them, some extras, some came in pairs. They are art practitioners, some are dancers, some are teachers, of course, some are visual artists, some are actors, many musicians. And there are others, really, they're the hewers of wood and the carriers of water. They're the people who make our Irish-American organisation strong. They're the people who organise the events. They're the people who made sure we went online with our dance classes or with our session show. All of them, in my eyes, are absolute superstars, heroes of the pandemic, because as they say, nothing keeps our spirits high like music, like arts. And then that terrible vacuum that came with lockdown, all the people we'll see tonight are people who entered into the vacuum and made sure they filled it with love, with art, with culture, with celebration, with exuberance and with great Irish values. So welcome to the Irish Arts and Culture Awards 2021. One of our great advocates in New York City is Kieran Madden, the Consul General of Ireland in New York. And if this was a normal time, we'd be in Rosie O'Grady's celebrating with a couple of hundred of ye, and Kieran would come and say a few words. We asked him, would he speak virtually to you tonight for 2 reasons. One, he's an absolute passionate advocate and promoter of the arts, but also, like all the excellent consuls general of Ireland that we've had in New York, he's continually pushing the envelope. And one of the things that he was the driving force behind is the new African American Irish Diaspora Network. So good luck to Kieran. We hope he continues to fly the flag for Ireland, for the Irish and for Irish America out there in New York. So I give the floor tonight to start to Consul General of Ireland in New York, Kieran Madden.
Good evening. I want to congratulate and thank Ray O'Hanlon, Morton and Whaler and all the team at the Irish Echo for their inaugural Arts and Culture celebration and awards. I also want to thank the great friend of Ireland, Conor Lamb, Congress member Conor Lamb, for taking the time to join this evening's celebration. The celebration this evening, I suppose, brings to mind 2 things for me. The first is obvious but worth restating: the enormous contribution that Irish culture has made to the United States. This has never been a one-way relationship. Culture has continued to travel back and forward across the Atlantic between Ireland and the US for centuries, enriching lives and culture on both sides. The second point is around the challenges we have faced over the last 12 months, over the course of the pandemic. People have sought to keep body and soul together. In keeping body together, it has been about frontline welfare, healthcare for people, getting vaccines out, and ensuring people have livelihoods and incomes. In keeping our soul together, all of tonight's honorees have been important in the Irish community. They have brought us together, they've enriched our lives, and they've helped us maintain the more intangible needs which we all have. So I congratulate all of them. I know there is a special award for the Irish Community Hero this evening, but in my mind, all of tonight's awardees are heroes. They brought us through a tough period, and we look forward to celebrating and growing with them in the year ahead. Thank you.
Gurukhed Maihugat a Kieran Ahasrain to Aka. Thank you, Consul General Madden, and I look forward when it's safe or when it's possible to go back to New York. I last visited the Consul General in February, late February of 2020, just before the shutter came down. Another great advocate for Irish America is a recently elected congressman, Conor Lamb of Pittsburgh. While he is new to the political scene, relatively new, he comes from one of these wonderful Irish American families, extended families, which we see right across the US. He's a member of the Lamb family, and his uncle Jim Lamb is the Honorary Consul General of Ireland in Pittsburgh. And the very first economic mission which came to Belfast after the ceasefires in 1994 was from Pittsburgh, and Jim Lamb, Conor's uncle Jim Lamb, was part of that delegation. So Congressman Conor Lamb is a former member of the Marine Corps and a former attorney. He has played Gaelic football for the Pittsburgh Celtics GAA team. His roots are in Mayo and Galway, and we were delighted that he took up the invitation to be our guest speaker at the Irish Echoes Culture and Arts Awards 2021. Interestingly, in terms of Conor Lamb, how I heard about him was he ended up in a Twitter spat with the former President Trump. And it's a wonderful thing for your profile, because I'd never actually knew he was involved in politics until then. He had a fairly tight election last year and came through as victor in that race. And then, of course, he's made a real impression in this new term in Congress. So another friend of Ireland, someone we hope to bring to Ireland to in the time ahead to be really a new campaigner for these productive links between both our lands. And it's great to ask him to be our guest speaker tonight. So please welcome, I give the podium, the virtual podium, to Congressman Conor Lamb.
Good evening. I'm Representative Conor Lamb. Thank you for inviting me to join you tonight. I'm speaking to you from the Congress of the United States in Washington, D.C. I represent an area outside of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, where my family has been ever since they came over from Galway and Mayo between 100 or a little more than 100 years ago. When I started running for this job a few years ago, I asked my Aunt Patsy about our family's origin in politics. And she told me that when my great-grandfather, Tom Joyce, came over from Connemara, his main aspiration and one of the reasons he came to Pittsburgh was to become a blacksmith. And I think he got his start on the Pennsylvania Railroad, but in those days the best work to get as a blacksmith was to be employed by the city of Pittsburgh, or at least to get work for them. But this was before the New Deal, so at that time the city of Pittsburgh was controlled by a Republican political machine. He asked around about how to break into the city's work, and someone told him you had to go down to the courthouse and you had to meet with a party official. And so he did that. And when he went and presented his qualifications and told them about how good of a blacksmith he was, they said, well, that all sounds well and good, but we see here that you aren't registered to vote on our rolls. You'll need to go down and register as a Republican right away in order for us to hire you. And so he went over that very same day and registered himself to vote for the first time in the United States as a Democrat. And the story was that he basically became a Democrat out of spite. And to me, that was the most Irish thing of all time, to choose your political party on that basis. And some would say it's a very Irish thing for us all to be sticking with it about 100 years later. But here I am. I'm speaking to you tonight not as a Democrat, but as a proud great-grandson of Tom and the others that I've described, who is very grateful for what the Irish did to make our place in America, and very grateful for what America did to give the Irish their place. In my own case, I was raised on songs and stories, as the song says, and they were songs that were about hard work and all the incredible hard work it took for the Irish to succeed in this country. And then the efforts that the Irish made to take care of other people, make them feel welcome, give them a chance to work hard and earn a life for themselves in America. And I was taught a lot when I was young about the role that the Irish played in organized labor and in serving in our military and in law enforcement and even in serving in politics and all the things that our community did to try to make life better, not only for themselves, but for others. and all the things that the Irish American community did for both sides of the Atlantic Ocean, and the historic role that many American politicians of Irish origin played in trying to establish the Irish peace process. We're at a time now in the United States where it seems like a lot of the achievements of the last century, whether the Irish peace process or things we accomplished here in our own country, are now at risk. There's no secret that there is historic levels of political division and even hatred among people in politics or among people of different parties or from different parts of the country. And I think the question that a lot of people had during the past campaign season was whether what we know to be the United States of America and what we value and we're taught will endure for another generation. I think that if there is one thing that the Irish American community has to offer the politics of the United States in this day and time, is the quality of endurance. Anyone from Pittsburgh who's Irish American knows about a guy named Billy Conn, who fought Joe Louis for the heavyweight crown in 1941. And this was about 6 months or so before Pearl Harbor. And the Irish community all throughout the United States was excited that Billy Conn was going to New York to take on the champ. And the story goes that a lot of people actually lost their jobs because they didn't have the right to take any days off, but they would rather quit and lose their livelihood for the chance to go to New York to see this fight. It was a really big deal. And Billy Conn was an underdog. He was undersized, he was scrappy, he was less well known, but for about 12 rounds, he hung in there with Joe Louis, and the nation waited with bated breath to see if he could take the title. And in the very last round, before it started, I guess his trainer said to him, "Billy, you've got this fight won on points. In the last round, all that you have to do is dance around him, stay away from him, don't let him knock you out. You've got this thing." And so what Billy Conn then did was, when the bell rang, charged straight at Joe Louis and tried to knock him out himself, because there was a girl back in Pittsburgh that he was trying to impress, and he thought that she'd be more impressed with a knockout than with a technical win. After a few minutes of this, Joe Louis finally got the shot that he was looking for, and he knocked Billy Conn out in the last round. The next day, one of the newspaper headlines read that this was the first title fight ever decided on the basis of nationality. Billy Conn lost because he had Irish legs following an Irish brain. That being said, he was proud of the effort that he put forth, and he eventually got the girl in the end, too. I think about that story all the time because politics itself and many things in this country right now kind of feel like a 12-round heavyweight fight, and they can be painful, and they can seem like they're never ending, and they can even seem like we're at risk of losing something. But the Irish in this country have always endured, no matter what. They might call us pig-headed or even stubborn, but that's a quality that we have of just simply never giving up, and I think that that's what this time calls for. I want to take a moment to congratulate, in particular, Diane Burns from Pittsburgh, who is being honored tonight for her radio broadcasts and the role that she's played in preserving Irish culture in Pittsburgh for many, many years. You know, when I think of the quality of endurance, I think of the fact that, you know, my own grandfather was born almost 100 years ago here in this country, and I feel that I know everything I know about Irish culture because of people like him, people like Diane, people like so many of those being honored tonight who refuse to forget what it means to be an Irish American and continue teaching it to each generation. I also want to congratulate from my state John Nolan and Sean McMenamin from out on the other end of Pennsylvania in Philadelphia, who've done similarly great work in the arts, preserving the unique contributions that the Irish have made here in this country. We're very grateful for the work that you've done, and as someone who's a new father, I hope that my son will have the advantage of the types of contributions and lessons that you all have taught all of these years to understand where it is that we came from. The last thing I want to say on the topic of Irish arts is that this seems to be the year of Seamus Heaney, because President Biden was elected and so eloquently referred to Seamus's work in many of his speeches. There was one poem of Seamus Heaney's that I really love, and the first reason that I came to like it was because there's a line in there where he talks about going somewhere with your two arms the one length. And that was a phrase that my great-grandmother, Julie Henry, used to talk about how you should never go to a party or over someone's house unless you're carrying something with you to give them. You should never go anywhere with your two arms to one length. And when I saw that in his poem, I realized there was a connection that crossed an ocean and even a century between us. I used the phrase recently in front of my wife, and she had no idea what I was talking about. But when I looked back over that poem in preparation to talk to you tonight, I realized that there was a much more important part of it that bears on a lot of things that are happening today. Many of the struggles that we have here in the United States and back in Ireland right now have to do with the topic of borders and the construction of borders and the question of immigration and relationships across borders. And in his poem, The Republic of Conscience, Seamus Heaney imagined a place that you could travel to called the Republic of Conscience. And he said that at immigration, the clerk was an old man who pulled a wallet out of his homespun coat and showed you a picture of your grandfather. And in that image, I thought to myself, how much good would be done, how much we would solve if policymakers, leaders, prominent people in every country had to look at a picture of their grandfather or their grandmother and think about their own origins and where they came from when they made decisions around the topics of borders and whether to welcome other people and whether to pursue the cause of peace. In my own case, that would mean that we would work to extend the opportunities that were given to my family to everyone in our country and to everyone on both sides of the border in Ireland and Northern Ireland. I think most of you agree with that, and I think if each of you thinks back on your own family's history in this country, it will renew the spirit that we need, give us the endurance that we need to take on these challenges anew in the year 2021. So congratulations to all of tonight's honorees. Thank you for having me with you here tonight. Good luck and God bless.
Thank you, Congressman Conor Lamb, for that eloquent and moving address, which I'm convinced we will see you often in Ireland when times enable safe travel, and we know you'll be a great advocate for Ireland on Capitol Hill and in Congress. Let's meet some of the wonderful superstars who have been nominated and are being honoured tonight. But before that, I want to thank the sponsors behind me. Let me tell you how this works. I'm looking towards the camera, but when we bring in our guests, our honorees, they'll appear behind me, so just to let you know. But our sponsors tonight are our friends of Culture Ireland, Culture Éireann, Aer Lingus, Ancient Order of Hibernians, Forest na Gaeilge, Irish American Partnership up in Boston, the Irish American Writers and Artists Inc., and the NI Bureau. I want to introduce you to our first cadre of heroes of the pandemic, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 for you to meet. And I'm going to start with Alex Boatwright, but I'm going to tell you who they are. There's Alex Boatwright, Dara Carr, of course, Mary Sue Connolly, Hilary Byrne, and Christina Shadell. And I don't have my glasses, so I can't really see them, but when they come on the big, but they're there now. So great to see you all. Let's start with Alec Boatwright, who's involved in Fair Play, who is involved in the Baltimore Washington Academy of Irish Culture.
There you go, yeah.
You're also a harpist. You also play the concertina. And
Yep.
One of the things about Irish Americans is they usually do about 16 things. In Ireland, we usually do one thing, we do it moderately well, but you will find as the night goes on, the people we introduce are multi-talented and multifaceted. But Alex, for you, you've had a very busy pandemic, but tell me, what is a door-to-door mini concert?
So one of the things that the kids have been doing this year at the Baltimore Washington Academy of Irish Culture is going door to door to our local, this is in Washington, D.C., by the way, so our local Irish community, maybe mostly CCE members, that would be Cultus, Culture Éireann, of course. The kids will schedule ahead of time, so we know that someone will be there. It is COVID safe. They knock on the door, it's small groups of kids, and they perform for whoever's there. Usually it's arranged by one member of the household, but then neighbors will see and come by and hear the music. So it's a way for the kids to perform still and to share their music, but in a COVID safe way and still following all of our current laws and regulations about, gathering.
Well, look, thank you very much for that. Tell us quickly what Fair Play does and what it has been doing over the last probably 2 years now.
Yeah, so Fair Play is a idea. It's a global feminist movement. And of course, feminism is not just about women, it's about marginalized communities in general. So just checking our own implicit biases about Irish music performers, who we should be hiring for teaching, or equal pay, things like that. For me, it even comes in a lot in how I recruit students, how I support students, making sure that it's not just accessible to students who can afford really expensive instruments, but giving access to students of all heritage backgrounds to all kinds of instruments and teachers and things like that. So just making sure that we're supporting everyone, no matter their background or gender or sexual orientation or anything like that.
Well done, you, Alex. They say in Connemara, fair play. That's fair play to you. We're very proud of you. Congratulations. I want to talk now to Dara Carr, who is a superhero of the Irish-American dance scene, of course, contemporary dance as well. Dara, you believe that there's no location that can't be uplifted by dance, and you've been trying to do that, but surely it's been very difficult over the last year, Dara, with your wonderful troupe of Irish dancers, with the actors you work with, the different plays you get involved with, so many different activities. But it must have been hellish difficult to uplift any place over the last year with no places to perform in.
It has been hard. You know, we've gotten very creative in terms of making choreography solos in our own living spots. So we're looking at urban environments, rural environments, apartments, lawns, parks. But it's been strange to work. You know, I work with usually 10 wonderful dancers as well as live musicians. So we've been doing solo shots and then working with a wonderful video editor, Jennifer Padham, to magically make it look like we're dancing together. So split screen, so it looks like we're doing a duet when it's actually two solos, arranging the right arm movement to look like we're holding hands on the split screen. We rented a theater upstate and did a socially distanced film for our arts education program. We shot it one at a time, X mark on the stage, and then she dropped us all into the frame during the editing process. So it looks like we're all lined up together, but in actuality, we were all dancing solely. But that's been a great tool for continuing our arts and education programming. Schools can purchase that for download and streaming and live streaming, and then we come on at the beginning or the end and teach a jig, say hello, interact live on Zoom. So we're navigating the challenges with technology to the best that we're able, but we really can't wait to get back to live, in-person dancing for audiences.
Well, Dara, we look forward to seeing that, because there is no group of Irish artists who've been helping people during the pandemic which would be complete without you. And I know you're also a great supporter of the different events we have had in New York. So hope to see you back in person on a stage or in a dance studio very soon. And so congratulations to you too. Thanks for being involved in this. Mary Sue Connolly, is that a Christmas tree behind you?
I'm actually at a friend's house, and yeah, he's got some Christmas lights.
Oh, good.
Sorry if that's distracting.
Good for him. Tell us about. You made a movie about one of these terrible or plights of America is the opioid crisis. But you made a movie on this issue called Overdose. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, I made a film called Overdose, and it's about the opioid epidemic. And I filmed in a small community in West Virginia, and that was really, West Virginia is the state that's been really hard hit, you know, and I traced the roots of it back to some greedy pharmaceutical companies that targeted impoverished communities like this one to boost opioid sales in impoverished communities. So yeah, I mean, it's not a joyful topic, you know. Yeah. It's really sad about what happened in rural communities, not just in West Virginia, but across the United States, you know.
Yeah, you're an immigrant into the US. Of course, you take those great immigrant values of reaching out to really communities which are on the rack, and I saw a little bit of Overdose. Very sad, that dark side of America, but for people who are experiencing great poverty. But that's something that's very true of a lot of the newer Irish that came over. You really great empathy for, I suppose, the underdog in America. Would that be true to say?
Yeah, definitely. But the film was actually inspired by a loss in my own family. It was a young Irish boy, my nephew, was actually caught up in this. And that's what drove me to tell this story, because I just felt like I couldn't keep silent about this topic anymore. And it was just a way of me also, my grieving process led me on this path to investigate what was happening in these communities, and how it's an epidemic of this magnitude could take hold and cause such devastation. So that was the reason why I began the project, sadly enough. So yeah, but also, yes, rooting for the underdog, definitely.
Well, listen, congratulations. Thank you for being involved in this Arts and Culture Awards evening, and we wish you well in the time ahead. Hilary Byrne, how many years have we had the St. Patrick's Day Parade in New York, and you managed to do a small event? It wasn't virtual. You walked up past the Irish Echo office in Madison Avenue. Will we see a big parade in 2022, Hilary?
Yes, we are anticipating an enormous parade next year. We were fortunate last year to actually have a symbolic parade that we managed to put together at 6 p.m. the night before. This year we were a little bit more organized, and we had our symbolic parade with the mayor of the city, first responders, and some essential workers. And we were able to march with the members of the 69th, who have led the parade for 160 years. And the parade itself is 200. We had our 260th parade this year. And it was very, very important that we did that, because the Irish have marched on the streets of New York every single year since 1762, 14 years before the establishment of this country. And that is an enormous weight on our shoulders to maintain that tradition. But also everybody has to reflect that the parade has survived a war of revolution, a civil war, World War I, the Great Depression, and World War II. And here in 2021, it was fantastic that we had the support to do what we did. And next year, we're looking forward to an enormous parade. And the events that we organized, we had a virtual parade as well. We had a virtual journal. We organized a 1-hour show with Mike Mathis, who does sometimes Nobel prize-winning ceremony from Oslo every year. We had an enormous social media campaign, and we could not believe, or I could not believe, the amount of people that interacted with us on social media. It was in excess of 2.5 million people. And on our live stream event, we didn't tell what time we were having the parade this year, because we did not want people to come and violate COVID-19 regulations. But we were stunned to find that 195,000 people watched that live without knowing what time it was going to go live.
So Hilary, you're a force of nature. Not only have you made sure that the parade did not die during the pandemic, but we know it's going to come back stronger and better, but also the changes in recent years are really make sure that it's embraced even more by everyone in Ireland and right across Irish America. So thank you, keep up the good work, and maybe see you on the parade route in 2022. Christina Shadell, great to see you as well. And you're wearing the medal, and all our honorees except Hilary. Hilary, I hope your medal has arrived. The Arts and Culture medal has gone out. So Christina Shadell, tell us about the work that you're doing in the Irish Heritage Committee at Sunny Rockland Community College.
Well, hello. Yes, I work at Sunny Rockland Community College. I work in the Visual and Performing Arts department there. I'm also a student success advisor with the School of Arts and Humanities. And I'm also a proud alum of Sunny Rockland Community College as well. And I've been part of the Irish Heritage Committee ever since I came back to start working there back in 2013. Which promotes Irish heritage and Irish culture through the celebration of the arts. Every single year we do something different. We try to change it up a little bit. In fact, I believe Dara Carr, we've had you at RCC during our Irish Heritage Month. We do an entire month-long celebration. I've explored the topic of Irish immigration to America because I see theater not only as a form of entertainment, but also as a form of education to educate people, because there's a lot of things about the Irish people that a lot of people actually don't know. So this gives us an opportunity to really educate people and entertain them at the same time. So that's in essence, in a nutshell, what we are doing with the Irish Heritage Committee at RCC.
Well, look, thank you very much. It's been a really tough year for colleges and universities. So we appreciate you keeping the flag flying there, and thank you for being part of this. Congratulations on your honour. I think we were mainly we were in Washington, we were in New York with Christina, with Dara, with Hilary and Mary Sue. But we're going to go to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, to Diane Burns. And Diane, first of all, some good news from Belfast to Pittsburgh. That was nice of Congressman Lamb to mention you in person, but of course I understand that. I mean, the two most famous people I know from Pittsburgh are Andy Warhol and Diane Burns. And Diane, first of all, congratulations, because the AOH had a special award for the person who did the biggest contribution to the community during the pandemic, and there was some very stiff competition for that award, but you have been awarded that additional award by the AOH tonight. You've been presenting the Echoes of Erin radio show for certainly it's maybe 33 years at a push. Tell us how the pandemic has been affecting your show over the last year and people listening to you and connecting to the show.
Well, one of the things, I've become a professional beggar. I don't get paid to do the show. I have to raise funds through advertising, through solicitations for donations, sponsorship, etc. And sometimes that's really hard, but I'm still there, and the AOH won't let me go. So they really have been so supportive of my efforts most of these years. I've got a really unique setup for a news report out of Ireland every week. And I call 4 different cities, 4 different people, and we get a perspective from the 4 corners of Ireland, and the people absolutely love that. So I get that segment sponsored, and it's really been great in keeping me on the air because, Marcin, the program has become the nucleus for the community. It's the dissemination of information, and the people really like that. They need that. And there's no other place they can get as much information as they do from the radio program. Okay. So it's been good.
So
it's
Diane,
been good.
Diane, you're the anchor of everything Irish in Pittsburgh and the Pittsburgh area. So congratulations. I want to congratulate all 6 of you. And I hope to see you all in Ireland very soon. Diane, you used to organise tours here. That hasn't happened in a while, but hopefully we'll see you back here as well. So thank you very much, folks. And I'm going to move on now to someone who's been waiting in New York very patiently, a great friend of ours, Jim Clerkin, the head of Cooperation Ireland in the US, was working with Moe Hennessy until very recently, and in that capacity turned over the palatial offices of Moe Hennessy to many visitors from Belfast and many delegations. But again, you're the absolute heartbeat of Irish America in New York, Jim, but you're also an immigrant as well. And we are going to speak now and salute a great hero of literature and the arts in Irish America, Thomas Lynch. So I wanted you to introduce you, first of all, to say thanks for being with us from New York, and wanted you to introduce our next guest, our next honoree, Thomas Lynch, poet, undertaker. Jim Clerkin, great to see you.
Martin, it's great to see you, and I'm quite surprised that you've become very arts and culture-y yourself, and this new hairstyle is extremely appropriate. And if I didn't know it, I was thinking that maybe you had moved to Hollywood. So it's great that the Irish Echo does make sure that the show go on. And it is fascinating for me to have this honor, frankly, to award the soul of Irish literature to Thomas Lynch. And the soul, there is a nice little pun there, of course, because You may not know this, but Thomas took over his father's business as an undertaker 47 years ago, and still does that work. But more importantly, Thomas and I thank you for letting me read this, insisting that I read this great book, because I couldn't talk to you without reading this. And I could go on for a very long time, because I remember well, Thomas, when my father died. My father died when he was 60 years old, young. I'm 66 now, so it's kind of strange thinking about that. And he was my best friend. We lived on a little farm in Rostrevor, County Down. And it broke my heart. It really broke my heart. And back then, it was customary to have a wake, which was a kind of a party, but I couldn't understand it. It didn't work for me. People coming to the house, drinking, talking, making jokes, because my dad was dead. And so when I read Booking Passage and all the great stories, and I think you refer to it as the it, whatever it is. And I found it when my mother came to me and said, back then I was called Jimmy. America made me Jim. She said, Jimmy, you know, your father would have wanted this. He would have wanted his friends, his family to remember him in a good way. And this book, well, you're a poet, Thomas. You're an extraordinary poet. You're a great writer. This book about we Irish and Americans, and I know I'm an Irish-American. I'm very proud of both. You cannot but live in this country and not be proud of America, even though we've got many horrible challenges. And you cannot be not proud of Ireland and Northern Ireland and the province when you come from there. This book really, it made me feel sentimental. It made me feel lonely. It made me feel happy. This book really, when I read it, and I thought, my goodness, why have I got the honor of giving you the Soul of the Irish Literature Award? But it did resonate, Thomas. I look forward to meeting you personally. It made me feel a little homesick. I haven't been able to get home recently because of COVID. I too have a little cottage. I know you have a wonderful story about a cottage. I understand you got a cottage that was, I think, given to your grandfather a long time ago. And I think you started going to Ireland back in 1970, if I'm correct. And you went to learn about your family and about William Butler Yeats and James Joyce, and you've been going back ever since. And it is a bit of a calling. I want to go home so bad right now, and I hope to get back there quite soon. And Booking Passage has only but increased my desire to do that. So without further ado, I'm honored to award the Soul of Irish Literature Award to Thomas Lynch, a great Irish American.
Thank you.
Thank you, Martin.
Thank you very much.
Thomas Lynch, respond to that. It's wonderful to have you with us on my behalf as someone who's read Booking Passage as well. And Jim has now become an Irish American. I will never be an Irish American, but from that book I got a greater understanding of what Irish America is than from anything else. And I'm a great fan of all the great Irish American writers, from Pete Hamill through to John Gregory Dunn and so on and so forth. So I want to thank you as well. But that's a great introduction, and perhaps you'd like to respond and tell us just maybe, I know you write extensively about life and death and why we're here and what's the best way to say farewell to our loved ones, but feel free to respond.
Well, I learned a good deal about how to do a funeral properly by spending as much time in Ireland as I could, because when I first landed in February of 1970, among the things that I was shown before anything else was the tomb where my great-grandparents, who were newlyweds when they moved into the house that I now have, are buried on the banks of the River Shannon. And I was the first, since my great-grandfather left there in 1890, I was the first of my line of people to go back. And I was as disappointing a Yank as ever arrived in Shannon Airport. I had $100 and no prospects, and I was a lackluster student. But my cousins, my grandfather's first cousins, brother and sister, spinster and bachelor, Tommy and Nora Lynch, welcomed me into their home and kept me for, I think it was 3 or 4 months at that time. And I just kept going back and back and back. I was there in January of 2020, before the pandemic struck. I was there to attend a wedding. And the boy who was married on the day died tragically this year after his first anniversary. I couldn't go back for that funeral. He was a neighbor of mine. I was there to dig the grave for his parents. This book, Booking Passage, which is a good few years written now, was written as a compensation for all the gifts that I'd been given by the Irish and continue to be given, which is why as soon as they lift the pestilent embargoes, I'll be on a plane and back to West Clare with the help of God.
Well, look, that's that nice. I haven't seen the award before, but that's a beautiful vase or vase they sent behind you. Yes. Well, we hadn't seen it. It was ordered from the States, but it looks well. I'm pleased to see that it's.
And it's a mighty weapon, I must say.
Well, I'm sure it is. You don't often see Jim Clerkin emotional, but he was quite emotional there as well. I'm going to leave you, but I wanted to say first to Thomas. I listened to your quarantine tapes interview, and people can Google that and check that with Paul Holden Graber. But they mentioned your own loss. Your daughter died last year. I want to express our condolences, but I need to know her name because they didn't mention your daughter's name. So
her name is Heather Grace.
Heather Grace. Well, look.
Heather Grace.
Well, our condolences in that. I'm reading Jim Clerkin has his book. I have The Good Funeral. I'm reading consecutive chapters. I'm only reading your chapters. Maybe I'll work my way back later on. But when you get back to Ireland, we're going to have to get you on a train and bring you up to Belfast. But again, from the bottom of our heart, we love all you've done for Irish literature, whether it's in America or whether it's in Ireland. And Jim Clerkin,
thank you very much.
Jim Clerkin, thank you very much as well for being with us. I think that's going to do us. So from New York and from Michigan, good night. Have a great Friday. And again,
thank you very much.
Thomas,
it's been a great pleasure. I'm going to grow my hair now.
Right, Jim. Good luck. Thomas, thank you. Good luck to everybody.
Thanks.
Keep the faith. Here's a little video from the Ancient Order of Hibernians, who are one of our sponsors tonight. Welcome back. What a pleasure to speak to the famous and wonderful and erudite and compassionate Thomas Lynch. And check out his books of poetry, including a book of poetry about the Sin Eaters, the Good Funeral. Check out his many books. And of course, Thomas Lynch inspired 6 Foot Under. So enough about Thomas Lynch. Thank you, Thomas. Thank you, Jim Clerkin, another great friend of ours. Going to move on to our next group, and let's see who we have in. Of course, we have Christopher Cook from North Carolina. You know, I knew, Christopher, you would be here on time without a doubt, so it's great to see you. Kyle Darcy hasn't joined us from Boston, but we have Maria Deasy. Maria, great to see you. You know, Maria, you're a superstar at this sort of thing, so you know it's not easy to present in front of you. You have more experience in this than me. And is that our dear friend Megan Durrig from Chicago? Oh,
yeah, Chicago.
Fantastic. And Rodney, how goes the motorbike business? Rodney, you're muted. You're muted. Let's start in North Carolina, and Rodney, we'll be back with you shortly. We'll be back with you shortly and back to motorbikes. Christopher, you and Sue have been dynamos in the heart of the Irish American community in North Carolina. You've been doing lessons online. You've set up a new Highland Pipers band online. You've had sessions session online as well. You've been a force of nature in North Carolina. So congratulations to you and your wife. I presume we only sent you one medal for the two of you. You know, we're trying to save the penny.
I'll share it with Sue.
Okay. Listen, tell us how things are in North Carolina.
Oh, they've been wonderful here. We've been staying very busy. Like you mentioned, we have an online session every Sunday. We have done Sunday sessions for as long as I've lived here, and we didn't want it to stop. So from week one, we started meeting online through Zoom, and we tried out some other things, but found that Zoom just worked the best for us. We have hosted lots of events. We started in May with a large mass hosted by our state chaplain for the AOH, Father Lessig. We had some guest speakers. So we had Consul General Stevens, as well as our honorary consul, Dr. Young. Dr. Young did a wonderful job presenting a poem titled Quarantine. It was very touching. And it's been a very busy year full of webinars, even ones that had featured past Lord Mayors of Belfast last week. So.
Good for you. Well, listen. Say congratulations and thank you to your wife as well. You know, musicians have done such a great job for all of us during the pandemic. So more strength to your elbow in the time ahead, and to your folk band called Use Tree. I've had more time at Ashburn.
We're not U2, that's for sure.
Okay, use Tree. Listen, congratulations, Maria Deasy. They say never try to sell a salesman or a saleswoman. So you're the president of the Irish American Writers and Artists Inc. You have huge experience of all these events. You know the importance of arts and culture. They say that if we lose arts and culture, we know what's going to rush in its place. So the Irish American Writers and Artists, for the record, is one of the younger groups. The New York Parade and the AOH are one of the groups who've been with us a longer time. But the Irish American Writers and Artists Inc. has made a really positive impression on the Irish American planetary system. So congratulations on that. So
thank you.
But tell me this: you make me feel like a woman in a pandemic. What's that all about?
Actually, that was something I started writing. I relocated to care for my parents, not that they normally need caring for, but I didn't want them to be alone during the pandemic. My parents, who hail from the great County Mayo. And while I was out there in my childhood home in New Jersey, I started writing, and I was writing about how nature was kind of coming out from hiding. As I was sitting in my parents' kitchen window, working from home and organizing events with my fellow board members and Vice President Brendan Costello, and trying to make sure that we remained connected with our Irish American community, our wonderful, terrific writers and artists who we, all really feel such a strong familial sense with, and a strong artistic community sense with. And as I was sitting there, I started writing my own pieces, and as well as doing some acting and organizing of our events.
Well, as I said, you may not have caught it earlier, but as far as I can see, everybody in Irish America does 5, 6, 7 things. So you're an actor, you're a presenter, you're now an organizer, and you're president of the Irish American Artists and Writers. Maria, thank you very much, and well done in keeping the Eugene O'Neill Award going. What a wonderful annual event that is. and to remember Eugene O'Neill as well, but you've had wonderful honorees and keeping your fundraising activities going. So thank you for that. Listen to this
Thank you so much.
Listen to this next young lady from Chicago. So Megan Durrig is an occupational therapist, and she uses Irish music to empower the older people she works with, many of whom suffer from Alzheimer's or dementia. So Megan Durrig, hello Chicago. I believe the river was green, no parade, but the river was green. But tell us about this work you do and how you use Irish music.
Yes, you are absolutely right. The river is green every year on St. Patrick's Day. Thank you very much for having me tonight. I work in an assisted living, primarily with adults with dementia. And a lot of them come from Irish descent. And truly my inspiration came from my grandparents from County Mayo, as well as my dad. I'm first generation, and I connected with them on a deeper level, surrounding the kitchen table, listening to Irish music. So a lot of my clients have dementia, cognitive deficits, and they'd have these beautiful landscapes in their homes. And I would ask them questions, but because they're such a vulnerable population, they couldn't have their loved ones come in and share their experience. So it was through music really that I used it in so many of my treatment sessions, that the clients could really hear those songs and hymns and like relive those moments. They couldn't necessarily recall what their childhood was like, but they knew those feelings. And many times I've had many clients in tears, and it's just an incredible experience. And I'm so lucky to be here tonight and to be able to continue living with the Irish American culture that I've grown up with.
Well, thank you. I see you've also green eyes, and I presume that's not just for the night, that you have those all year round. So congratulations. Say hello to Sean Tenner. I believe your aunt is Judge Fallon, is that right?
That is correct.
Judge
Yeah,
Fallon.
Judge Patricia Fallon.
Say hello to Judge Patricia Fallon as well. Please stay in touch from Chicago, but it's wonderful for the musicians who are on tonight to hear that the music is being used in that life-changing and life-saving and empowering way. So thank you, Chicago. Thank you, Megan, for being with us. Rodney Dixon, how are you tonight?
I'm doing well, my mate. How are you?
Fantastic. Tell me this, the Hugh Lane Gallery has acquired some of your magnificent works. Will I ever see them in that gallery, do you think, or they'll be in the store for 30 years?
Well, from what I heard, they put them on display right away 2 or 3 months ago. And we talked a lot about travel restrictions and the pandemic. As soon as I can, I want to go and see them myself. So hopefully you can see them too whenever we're able to travel again.
Well, I look forward to that. Now, Rodney, you're from County Down originally. You're a visual artist, but you made a really important point. You said that actually creating art during the pandemic was tougher than it had been previously.
Well, it was in a way, you know, there was lots of time, as we all know. So we maybe theoretically could have made twice as much work as normal, but there was something missing in the world, as we all know. There was some, I don't know, some excitement, some inspiration. So I worked in kind of 3-week blocks, I think, 3 weeks on, 3 weeks off, and ended up probably making about the same amount as I would in any normal year. I also suspect, I mean, it's been the same for most of my friends who are artists. I also suspect that we work to capacity anyway. And it's not like working in a factory where if you have more time, you make more work. It's a creative process. And if you're on the limit, more time doesn't necessarily make more work, you know. But we fought our way through it, as we all did. And now I'm fully vaccinated, I'm proud to tell you. So maybe the future will be brighter, and maybe I can jump on a plane and get back there to Ireland in the next 2 or 3 months.
Well, look, part of County Down's in Belfast, so your work needs to be seen and exhibited in Belfast. Take care on that motorbike. No sense surviving the pandemic and then get knocked down on one of these motorbike excursions you go on. So take it easy out there, and good luck.
Well, you're right there. Next time you're in New York, I should paint your portrait as part of this series I'm working on.
Well, you're very welcome at any time. Yes, of course, that sounds like an offer I can't refuse. Rodney, good luck. Kyle Darcy in Boston, former capital of Irish America, but we'll be hearing what the capital of Irish America is later tonight. Kyle, tell us about Under the Impression.
Marty, before I answer your question, I just want to say thank you to you and everybody on the Irish Echo team, not just with this evening's event, but you guys support the Irish arts and culture 24/7, 365. You do a wonderful job. So
tell us about Under the Impression, young man. Get to the point. Tell us about this wonderful book, Under the Impression.
Listen, under the impression, it's my second novel. It falls into the historical fiction category, and it spans continents and decades. It starts off in the waning days of World War II and continues up until the mid-90s. The story involves a group of Nazi elite who escape Germany after World War II, and they blame the United States for the demise of the Third Reich. So in order to get some retribution, they team up with drug cartels and the United States government. They turn to a young Belfast graduate, electrical engineering graduate, get him into the CIA. And so what could go wrong? Everything culminates in mid-90s with events in Medellin, Belfast, and Boston.
Well, three beautiful locations. Kyle, it was great to have Boston, to have New York, to have North Carolina, to have Chicago on the line. The Mayo ones tried to gang up, but I'm glad there's two Belfast or two County Down, County Antrim to force back that Mayo, I don't want to say Mayo Mafia, that Mayo Legion, Thank you, folks. Great, listen, thanks for being part of it. And you know, there is light at the end of the tunnel, but we really appreciate all you're doing. We're keeping spirits high during the pandemic. So good luck. Take care. Slán go fóill. A Life in Irish Letters, Ms. McDermott, and Mary Sugrue. Mary Sugrue in Boston. Mary, I know what I said, the Irish American Partnership's based in Boston, but you're sort of based in Chicago a little bit, aren't you? Like when you're allowed to travel. Or you'd like to be. Your empire, but I believe your empire now has gone point south down to New York as well.
Absolutely. We cover the nation, we cover across the Atlantic as well. Absolutely.
And you're the first voice from Kerry. I think there was someone whose parents were from Kerry earlier on, but you haven't been back in some time, Mary.
No, I can't wait to go, Martine. Like everybody else, waiting for the day to get on the plane.
Tell us, we're going to talk about Alice McDermott, and you know, for a minute there I thought Ms. McDermott had stood us up, but I see you're there as well. Alice, great to see you. Mary Sugrue, tell us about Alice McDermott, why she's such a wonderful, wonderful beacon of light, and why her Life in Irish Letters is so inspirational for all of us. Go for it.
Yeah, well, first of all, I have to say it's my absolute honour to present the Life in Irish Letters Award on behalf of the Irish Echo to she is one of the finest writers of our time, Alice. And no one really among the Irish American literary luminaries captures the Irish American community as vividly and as honestly and as poignantly as National Book Award winner Alice McDermott. And Mick Maloney, the archivist and Irish musician, says that really her novels illuminate Irish America and that the experience of Irish America like none of her peers. And it's perhaps because she's of that community, with her writing framed within the Irish American tradition, and that she's able to turn a really compassionate but insightful eye on its victories and its foibles, but while really exquisitely crafting universal characters that are just so deeply human and tender. You know, Alice is not afraid to tackle the most difficult aspects of our existence. She vividly portrays, the full range of our experience, from devastation of illness and of death and of alcoholism and loss, but then to the radiance of what it means to have faith and to have love and to have generosity. And, for me, in all of her work, she captures the principle of belonging, and that is so crucial to our resilience in the face of adversity, and it really does lie at the heart of the Irish American spirit. The only Irish trait our novels really lacks is cynicism, and so we are certainly all the richer for that. So Alice has spent a life in letters as the leading storyteller of Irish American, the novel and the short story. And I can only undoubtedly, during this past year, I'm sure many in Irish America have turned to her writings, for comfort and for company, which I certainly did when I was rereading her brilliant and moving novel, The Ninth Hour. So Alice, it's just an honor and just an absolute delight to recognize you this evening. with this award. And thank you for the honour, Martine, of doing that.
Mary, thank you. Alice, Mary goes to Washington at least once a year, so we'll have to introduce you the next time she's down. She organised events for the Irish American Partnership, which is a wonderful charity out of Boston largely. It raises money only for education, 32 counties, and that focus has been very useful, so I hope we'll be able to put you together to meet each other when she's in Washington. But listen, I'm Martine O'Mwillior, and it's wonderful to meet you and to be able to thank you for all you've done for the Irish American community and all you've done for literature. You had a beautiful piece in the Irish Echo today on the web. Your family had a tough time with COVID in December. I'm glad you pulled through that, but it's a real capricious, nasty virus, and we've all lost friends to it. But I know people who have had it, and it's really knocked them for six. But you mentioned about that maybe we suffered enough, and America is always a hard place. Somebody from Ireland, I always think America, there isn't much of a safety net there. But do you think that maybe some lessons have been learned, that maybe you're going to come back a little bit more as a country, a little bit more compassionate after this terrible ordeal that people have gone through? Or is that just fantasy?
Oh, no. Well, first, I want to thank you, Martine, and the Echo and Mary for that wonderful introduction. And please, yes, let's get together whenever you come to Washington, D.C. area.
I'd love that. Be great.
I'm sure my faith tells me, and my Irish roots tell me that there is something to be gained from suffering. That the experience we've all gone through together, not just the Irish community, the world community has gone through this experience of this past year. And it seems to me that when we get to the end of it, and it looks like it's in sight, we won't be the same people we were when we started. As a novelist, I believe that every story is about change. And as a Catholic, I believe that. I believe there's grace in suffering. And certainly as an Irish American, knowing what my people have been through and their resilience, I'm pretty sure that will we be better? That's up to us. But we will be a different people when we come through this.
Well, and tell me this, is there inspiration there to write, do you think, as well? I mean, one of the things about, Mary did her homework with the Ninth Hour. I did mine with Charming Billy. And I always detect a little bit of sadness at the heart of Irish America because of the immigrant experience. And I don't know if that's because I'm not Irish American, so I can't speak with any authority on it, but I always feel a little bit of displacement and unsettled, people unsettled. But this is so unsettling, this pandemic. But is it something that you turn away from, or something that perhaps has inspired you to be able to write about?
It seems to me probably the person who will write the best novel about COVID-19 probably hasn't been born yet. We probably need that long view that writers and artists give us to make real sense of what we've been through. But I do think there is a melancholy, and I don't think it's just the Irish immigration experience. In some ways, it's at the heart of what it is to be an American, because in some ways we're all exiles. And I think that even if it's just in our DNA, if it's not even in a specific memory, there is a sense among those of us who are American that we have left one place behind to be here. There's something wonderful about that. There's something optimistic. We looked around us, or at least our ancestors did, and said, I'm not staying here. I'm going to find something better, and took great risk and crossed oceans and crossed borders and found something. But still, that makes us exiles, forever exiled in some way. Well, and that gives us tremendous insight.
Well, look, I want to thank you for being with us tonight. You talked today in the Irish Echo article about maybe a more compassionate America, more generous, more giving. And I can tell you, it's 99% of Ireland would love to see that. So we wish you well on that journey. It's not going to be easy, but the type of America you envisage, based on those Irish American values and immigrant values and values of diversity and tolerance and love and solidarity are our values as well. So thank you for your life in Irish letters. But
Thank you. And
keep it going.
thank you for the lovely.
Fantastic. Is that lovely?
Beautiful.
Well, look, and Mary Sugri, thank you very much in Boston. Good luck, ladies.
Thank you.
Thank you. I give you my heart. Take care. Slán go fáil. Thank you, Alice. Slán. Amor.
Thank you.
Group 3, Carson Elrod. Is Carson Elrod the ultimate hero of the pandemic? Where is the arts hero? Carson Elrod. Carson, now, we've been talking now about how many jobs people have. So you're a teacher, you're an actor, and now you are an organiser of the most important campaign to try and get employment for all these several million, I presume, or actors or those involved in stage and theatre and events and so on.
I'm usually a professional actor, and so I identify with so many of the things everybody has said tonight, talking about the social, spiritual, psychological value of arts and culture. It's a cornerstone of our existence. But one of the things that's been left out in the conversation is our economic contribution. We're 4.5% of this country's GDP, $919 billion in value added to the American economy. That's more than education, agriculture, transportation, and yet with the relief and recovery efforts out of Washington, the arts and culture has largely been left out. And so we kind of stepped in. We started this campaign called Be an Arts Hero, and we represent the 2.7 million unemployed arts workers in this country right now. And we kind of stepped up and stepped in, and we are trying to organize everybody across the country to call their representatives, talk to people like Representative Lamb, and to make sure that there is a different conversation between the federal government and the arts and culture sector in this country. And we're very, very hopeful that going forward, we're going to be able to build back better with the arts. There's an upcoming plan, the American Jobs Plan. It would be fantastic if we could turn dead factories into mixed-use cultural spaces, if we could put creative workers to work. And we think that we can. And so that's what we've been up to for about a year. It's just relentless lobbying, really, on behalf of all of us to get through this.
Carson, you need to keep at that, because the Irish government's budget for the arts this year during the COVID year was over 100 million, just over 100 million euro. And I think a national endowment for the arts budget for all of America is about $100 million. So a lot of work to do. Our dear friend Michael O'Keefe, the actor, typical American, he was an actor, now he's a poet as well. Everybody wants a double job. Who nominated you for this, and a great friend of Belfast and the Irish Echo and Irish America. He sends greetings. So keep at that. We endorse all that, and thank you for being with us. I'm
honored.
Good man, Carson. Keep at it. Ken Fleming. Ken, tell us about the North Texas School of Irish Music.
Well, that's actually one, I guess one...
one string to your bow.
I'm sorry?
One string to your bow.
Yeah, we're very fortunate in North Texas that we've developed a number of things to appreciate Irish culture, and particularly the music and dance. I mean, we have the North Texas Irish Festival. We have the North Texas School of Irish Music. We have the O'Flaherty Irish Music Retreat, which I'm the director of and founder. We have the O'Flaherty Irish Music Youth Camp. And then we have organized sessions and Kayleys, and I think a lot of people are surprised in Dallas, Texas, there's so much Irish music and dance and culture. We don't have an Irish community, but we have a large Irish music community, which is even growing.
And you've gone online. I mean, you have your events really all of last year. You managed to keep people together. Daniel Neely, who writes for the Echo, was just full of praise for how you made sure those connections weren't broken.
Yeah, we were in our 17th year as the O'Flaherty Irish Music Retreat, and we elected to go virtual. And we found out that we expanded beyond what we normally had. We had 36 states and 7 countries and almost 380 students. And we had to assemble 36 really great, talented volunteers to be able to do this. And it was very successful, and it's something that it's a one-off, but and it took a lot more time to do a virtual than we did an in-person. but it was worth it. We had a really good turnout.
Well, look, congratulations. Keep the spirits high in North Texas. I'm delighted you were able to tell so many people through the Irish Echo of the activity that goes on there, and we're grateful for you. I'm going to go to, so thank you, Ken. I think that's our friends at where are our friends at Aisling? Where's our friends at Aisling? They can wave to us, our friends at Aisling. So,
wave, you guys. Hello.
But we don't want you just yet. So no, you stay tight. Oh. So stay tight. So, but we'll Jean Heaney up in Maine. So it's good to be connected with the Maine Irish Heritage Centre. It is the most beautiful Irish centre in all of America with its gorgeous green doors, and you have helped ensure that money still come into the Maine Irish Heritage Centre in Portland, Maine over the last year. Tell us a little bit about that.
It is a magnificent building, that's for sure. We've done a lot of work to restore it, and it is beautiful. I guess you've been here, so that's exciting. We have figured out ways to pivot. Maine, 1 in 6 people in Maine have come from Irish descent. And we have Mainers in Presque Isle to Kittery, from Auburn out to down east in Acadia. And there are artisans, there's dancers, there's singers, there's fiddlers, there's writers, there's storytellers. It's amazing the richness of the fabric of the Irish in Maine. And we have been lucky to be able to put together a show called The Best of All Things Irish in Maine 2020, which you can see on our YouTube channel. And it was a show with about 20 different acts. And it was amazing to see the quality and the variety of talent that we have here that came together and replaced what used to be a fundraiser with about 100 local people in the room. We now have expanded our network beyond Maine to Ireland. We had people watching from all over the United States. And it was really exciting for us to be able to find a way to extend our network and expand our viewing audience.
Well, look.
Go ahead.
No, well, look, thank you very much. You're also, of course, you have a software company called Visual Integrity. So there might be somebody out there that wants to do business with Visual Integrity. But look, give my regards to everyone in Maine. I mean, I've been really cheered by seeing so much stuff online, and thank you very much. I look forward to returning at some stage. So look after that centre. Fixing the doors and making them beautiful again was wonderful. But let's go to New York to Soraya Hansis, who is the owner of the New York studio of Irish Step Dance. Well done on St. Patrick's Day. You had you actually got out on St. Patrick's Day with some of your dancers. Soraya, tell us about that.
Yes, we were incredibly lucky to have so many different opportunities to perform virtually. So either we took pre-recorded footage from previous performances and we put them all together and then shared them with various organizations, or even more exciting for our dancers was to actually have them perform from their homes, gave them the opportunity to have a little more of their own self in it. So they pick their own wardrobe, their own music, their own choreography, and from there they perform for various organizations. So it was a lot of fun.
Well, and you're on the Upper West Side in New York. When will you be open again, do you think?
So the plan is to start actually outdoors next month, somewhere in Riverside Park, and then some private lessons here or there, just to make sure that we're 100% safe. And then the plan is for the fall to come back into the studio. That said, we are still going to continue virtual classes. One thing that we did find to be sort of a benefit from the last year was just to see how many people we could bring together from across the country. So we have students now from, say, California, from Colorado, from Georgia, and it's been really nice to see that those silos are broken down, that we can all be together no matter where you live.
Well, look, congratulations. Thank you very much. And break a leg, I think, is what we're not supposed to say to Irish dancers, but listen, break a leg. I want to go now to our dear friends up at the Aisling Irish Centre in Yonkers, Dawn Doherty and Frankie McCormick.
Hello.
And now the kids get to wave and
now, guys, you can wave. Woo-hoo!
Well, so we have good news. So we have lovely news. We have good news. So we had an online poll. There was no election.
Can I see? Yeah. Can I put you on speaker?
Yes,
Can I put this on speaker? 1 second.
Of course you can.
Hold on 1 second. Okay, can you talk there? See, can we hear you?
So we had an election online.
Hold on. 1 second. Okay. No, that's not working. Put this back. Okay. Hello? Yeah, I can hear you now. Sorry.
You're fine, Dawn. It's this is what show business is all about. Even when things go wrong, they go right. So
I can hear you with the headphones, so I can relay all the messages.
Well, you can tell it that we had an online poll where people voted for the overall hero of the pandemic. Of course, everybody's a hero, but anyway, we had a lovely, fun election online. And here's the figures. Alec Boatwright, 349 votes. This is amazing. People come in and vote for 349 times for our friend Alec Boatwright. Natalie Nugent and Cormac O'Shea, 358. Elizabeth Stack of Albany, 430. Barry Stapleton of Milwaukee, 432. Ken O'Malley of Los Angeles, 596. Caitlin Warbello and Chris Rainey, 627. And the winners with 631 votes, 4 votes in it, is the Aisling Irish Centre, Keely Band and Ballad Group. So congratulations. And that vote has been certified now. That's not going to be contested. That vote's been certified now. So listen, congratulations.
Brilliant. Thank you so much.
We can hear you loud and clear. Dawn, tell us about...
Thank you, guys. Woo! You won, you guys. Woo! They're excited.
Listen, we have nothing but praise for the Aisling Irish Centre and all the work you're doing. Please keep it going. Please keep keeping people's spirits up. It's absolutely fantastic, all the work you've been doing. And of course, you were on the Late Late Show in Ireland at Christmas, which was quite an achievement. So well done, Dawn.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
All right. Frankie, thank you. Take care.
Thank you. Bye.
Ken, Jean, Soraya, Carson, Dawn, Frankie, thank you very much. Good luck, folks. Break a leg. Take care. Take care. Let's have some messages for the wonderful Aisling Irish Centre kids. Let's see some videos that were sent in for them.
Congratulations to the Aisling Irish Community Centre, Keely Band and Ballad Group on receiving your Irish Arts and Culture Award from the entire USW team. Yay!
Dawn and Frankie, thank you for your talent and commitment. We are proud to be part of the Aisling Irish Community Centre Keely Band that brings joy to the community through music. This one's for you. You are our sunshine, our only sunshine. You make us happy when skies are gray. You'll never know, dear, how much we love you. So please don't take our sunshine away. Thank you to the Aisling Irish Community Centre for this wonderful opportunity to sing in your ballad group. A special thank you to our teachers, Dawn and Frankie, for your dedication and inspiration. Thank you. We love you.
Congratulations on the Aisling Irish Centre, Keely Band and Ballad Groups on receiving this award. Also, big shout out to Kelly and Creamy on receiving this award. We're very proud of you.
Team Aisling extends a huge congratulations to the Aisling Irish Community Centre, Keely Band and Ballad Group on their well-deserved award from the Irish Echo. This truly amazingly talented group of kids have provided endless hours of entertainment for so many people and so many groups over the past year. We would personally like to thank them for participating in our Sláinte event last year. A huge well done also to your wonderful teachers, Dawn Doherty and Frankie McCormack. Again, huge congratulations, kids, and enjoy the night. So well deserved.
Well, that's what I call a celebration. We've been so lucky to work with the Aisling Irish Centre and the Aisling running team for the Crack 10K run on St Patrick's Day as well, and they really are the heart of the role. They're inspirational, so they are. So congratulations, Dawn, Frankie, especially all the young people who were involved. We have Mary Kay Hennihan with us from Buffalo. Buffalo, of course, has just displaced Boston as the capital of Irish America. So Mary Kay, good to see you. Elisa Jensen, Maureen Kennedy, and Mohamradi Teg O'Marchin. We'll go to Buffalo first. Mary Kay, you have a sort of a lock on this Irish Echo stuff because you've been an honoree with us before, but I have been to Buffalo. I've seen your wonderful dance troupe, Rinka Nachirna. We saw a beautiful video out of Buffalo last year celebrating the Irish American community with these Riverdance members of the Riverdance cast who you trained as well. But one of the things that really impressed me during the pandemic is that you had pop-up car park classes, practice in the park. Now, that would be okay in California, but it's Buffalo. It's Buffalo. So you managed to get outdoors a little bit during the pandemic and keep spirits high. Great to see you.
Yes, good to see you too. We did. And it's Buffalo. We're hardy. We're Irish. We're hardy. We can take it outdoors when we need to. Our St. Patrick's Day parade is usually 30 degrees, not 70. So I felt like it was sort of training for things to come.
Well,
it was great.
Well, fantastic. Tell me this: your young people used to travel the world with Riverdance. They're at home. They're still able to practice. Or, I mean, that has been a real big blow to, I suppose, people around the world that love Irish dance. How are you keeping these young people, these All Ireland champions, these world champions? How are you keeping them busy?
Well, thankfully, they're helping me teach. Their knees are holding up better than mine are, so that's really good. So they're really active in the classes. They're super fit kids, and they love to dance. So they're just going to keep dancing. Riverdance Tour is back on the schedule. It's coming back to Buffalo, April 2022. So we're really excited, and hopefully all the girls will get to participate again.
Well, look, say hello to Senator Tim Kennedy.
I will do that.
Who's a consultant in all these events, and we appreciate the great connection now we've built with Western New York and with Buffalo in particular. And say hello to all those wonderful young people in Rinka Nachirna dance troupe. And congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you so much for the honor.
Thank you. Maureen Kennedy up in Cincinnati, founder of the Irish American Theatre Company. I mean, one of the great Irish American centres of America, a full city block. Wouldn't exist without you, Maureen, but you're also an actor as well. But, you know, you really got the bit between your teeth when the pandemic hit and made sure that the centre kept that connection with that very vibrant Irish community up in Cincinnati. But one of the things you did was you had, and I don't know if anyone else, of all the wonderful events, I don't know if anyone else had a drive in your car for an outdoor concert.
Yeah, so we've had several of those, and they've been very successful. So I recommend them to all my friends here. I mean, the people come in, they can sit in their car. There's a special sound system that can go in. It's like in your radio, so they can hear the music, or they can sit on the front of their car, whatever they want, social distance. And we have the musicians live on a portable stage in the backyard. And that's all in the backyard of the Irish American Heritage Center, which we have here right in Cincinnati.
Well, and congratulations on that. But you also are one of the few people who are able to hold an event on St. Patrick's Day. So you actually were able to use the Irish Centre. And I believe St. Patrick was vaccinated and was there in person.
He was. And we're very fortunate. We have a very large building. It's 400 square feet, 400,000 square feet. And it is, you know, used like for St. Patrick's Day. We had 6 different rooms in use. All the seats were social distance. The people all wore masks. And we had 6 feet apart. And it was really just a joy for everybody to be together, to be able to talk across the lines with each other, and to have a lot of Irish dancers, music, musicians, storytellers, St. Patrick, and all the wonderful things, great food, all tied up in little boxes so people were safe. So we had a safe but a wonderful celebration, and we continue to do the same with all the wonderful opportunities we've had from the songs and the music from all our friends in Ireland who have sent us things. We've had theater, come in on Zoom. I mean, there's just so many things that we've done with all the help of all the wonderful people who are here in this area who help put it all together.
Well-
And it's a real joy.
Well, look, listen, it's very important to occasionally just give people a pat on the back to recognise what they're doing. Everybody needs and deserves recognition, but what you've done, it really lifts everybody's spirits in Ireland and across America, but in Irish America. I haven't got to visit you yet because we only met post-pandemic, but it's on my list. It really is. I know the Ambassador Dan Mulhall says this as well, that it's one of the great beacons of Irish America. So congratulations to you. Keep up the good work, and I hope that we'll get to meet in person in the future. So break a leg.
Thank you very much.
Now, Elisa Jensen, where is your artwork? We need to see you because you've been doing these wonderful pictures from your window in Brooklyn. But okay, let's see them. Where are they? Let's see one.
You want to really see one?
Yeah. Do I have to come back to you? Do I have to come back?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm going to be showing some paintings up in a gallery in Hudson, New York, which is opening on May 15th. But if you'd like to come back to me, I could share a painting.
Yes, we're going to do that. We're going to go to Tim Martin. Tim in Los Angeles. Nim Giadich, Tim, tag, Jimmer Tattoo, a hagin e warchin. Oh, you're on mute. Tattoo. You're on. Well, he's going to come off mute, I'm sure.
There we go.
We're going 6,000 miles. Tagging, Shay de Vaha, could you count us a tattoo? Could you ever tattoo?
Oh, so make a hand what I thought.
August tattoo, Chagas Gilligan Shinla Trohablian.
What? Le Fada.
Le Fada.
Oh, yeah, Milanege like the Octo Share.
Well, sure, Shin ni a new na nye ni jeg Octo Share. Ac Bulam Ladini a Gahar na Nangle a Dolam and Gillig a Muin Shin. So ta pobl Liger Gillig Ogat.
Vi made kind to I do all so line. I do the holy shake it up to me make a kind lad. I don't say, oh, that you go out on fashion.
Well, will me lesh was ta Gillig Wahega, the Galta him. Ac is Eistjor who fast agus is Rinkor who?
Sure, da. I guess well Tommy ta went to come less in Clay Solish, I guess on Emmerka and sure in Los Angeles, Mahampla Coltis, I guess Conan the Gaelga, sort of Fulton acting group also, who always have an Irish flair in anything we do. And we've had to go online with Zoom to instead of meeting. And so what we've done is we did a lot of reading online, but we've switched to writing plays now, each of us, like one a week. And so for the past year, we've managed to write a play every week, believe it or believe it not. Sometimes it gets to me, but we managed to do that.
Well, listen, congratulations, co-gorgeous. That's Tim Martin in Tagging Martian in Los Angeles. So, Tim, there's an Irish language revolution going on in Los Angeles. Thank you for keeping spirits high and for making sure the classes are going on in Zoom.
So, I'll make a special mention to Katrina Kiefer, who's been a great inspiration to us here in Southern California. She's really a tornado when it comes down to it.
Well, look, thank you. And just to put the record, everything on the record, Tim is also an actor and a set dancer. Just typical tonight. These people are multi-talented. So, Tim, congratulations.
I'm proud on August Canava, August Bime,
Maya Farr.
Yeah.
Maya Farr. We're going to Elisa Jensen from Brooklyn, who's spent the pandemic painting pictures out her window. And I mean, you have to share a painting with us, Elisa.
Can you see that one?
Oh, that's beautiful. Look at that there. That's beautiful. And that's out your window. So
yeah, it's this is the kitchen. So it was very, very quiet this winter. It was very cold. There was a lot of snow. Snow and then snow and then snow. And when you're stuck at your home in the pandemic and you can't really go out and it's cold, you spend a lot of time looking out the window and just noticing how beautiful things are, how beautiful the light is. So the paintings really are about the light.
well, it would have been a shame to do this entire thing without having a beautiful piece of art as well. So thank you for being part of the Arts and Culture Awards. We think you used your time very productively. That's a very beautiful painting, and congratulations. So from Brooklyn, New York, Cincinnati, Buffalo, and LA. Thank you very much, Elisa Gurmohiga. Thank you very much, folks. Good luck. Good luck. Slán go fóill. Take care. Thanks for being part of it. Take care. Nice. Gradam na Gaeilge. Of course, that racked everything, me insisting that Elisa share the screen, but it was fantastic. It's very important to see that wonderful work that Elisa has been doing during the pandemic when the views out her window, and hopefully we will see it in a gallery. And on our website, it'll have all the details of every honoree tonight, and you can go in and read about every honoree, including where Elisa's work will be on show. We have a special award for someone in Irish America who's been promoting the Irish language during the pandemic. We called it Gradam Cree and Culture Gael Veracany, the Heart of Irish America Award, because very much in recent years the Irish language has been at the heart of Irish American activity right across the country, and for example in Los Angeles. And Sean O'Kinn is the CEO of Fortis na Gaeilge, and we asked him to tell us a little bit about the winner of that award, who's one of our 40 honorees tonight. So Boilam Fáilte Currah Hein O'Kinn as Fortis na Gaeilge, Príomhaimeach Oras na Gaeilge, Tagola Aralin K Win and Gradam Shaw, Gradam Cree and Culture Gael Veracany. Sean O'Kinn.
Luhararam goer Fortis na Gaeilge Curú ó the Irish Echo, Macalla na Héran sa Stáitíntaithe le Gradam Cree Culture Gael Veracany a ógart. Gradam úr é seo a dhéanann ceiliúrú ar orbit na Gaeilge in san Stáitíntaithe a measc an diaspora. Tá anspéis ag Fortis na Gaeilge a gorthain cin na Gaeilge thar lear. Ní ar waithe le corthain cin na Gaeilge héin a bhaine tá sin. Ach, tugann seo aitheantas agus stadas don Gaeilge mar hangi idirnáisiúnta. Tugann sé beocht don Gaeilge agus tugann sé spreagú agus inspiraid dúin a wasan seo néring. Mbliana, cid bhliain an Gradam, enam níl daiche de haon duine don Gradam. Ach, be an Gradam a gáil hiag aon duine bháin. Múintear Gaeilge, scríbnar Gaeilge agus duine a bhfuil sár obair deanta aici ag forbairt úsait na Gaeilge in na Stáitíntaithe. Baní a haistealan ó chathair go chathair i teagas Gaeilge trónóntaí agus deirí seaachtaine. Tá luthararam an Gradam seo, Gradam Cree Culture Gael Veracany a bhronú ar bhean de na daoine is aitheanta i saoil na Gaeilge in na Stáitíntaithe. Katrina Weaver. Cúgardas láta Katrina.
Well, Boilam Píos a hórta Sean O'Kinn fásta de Oras na Gaeilge tá mar ora agin na nacht agus gurmaigras na foclaí sin a ranú linn a hain. I'm joined by Katrina Weaver. Most people think she's in LA, but there's a rumour that she's moved across the country, but she is, as Tim Martin said, an absolute tornado. She is a miraculous medal in the Irish American Irish language movement. The pandemic meant nothing to her. She just kept on forging ahead, promoting the Irish language, teaching Irish. And of course, she is someone I've never had any communication with in English. So I'm going to speak to her in Irish, and the rest of you can do whatever you want. So Katrina Weaver, when she and Gradam Shaw are now as fada chap fi dini intaha multa dun Gradam Shaw Sky Lanini Tago marching in a mask, Maura Mulligan in a mask, agus Cudden Alarn is Gilliga. Ac the current into Sorum, so go to and Tahan to Shaw, Katrina Marta, Jobby and Dagogot, John Doggett. In Stuka Jim are Hanny to Friesian and Fandem Vilchanok Shaw.
If a hen gur míle aga go bhór sin mar tatagin ceúra agus tá ceúra testáil géir ag an am seo mar tá daoine folann agus just ordaíonn se seo argríthe so tá mé fíormhuíoch tá mé buíoch as chuileganna a bhí an seo hena agus mé géisteach lóbar fad na daoine a churann gachrod isteach in sa teanga agus a cultúr agus ordaíonn sin go léir. Bhí mé smaoinemh ar dús just bhhailm tosnú le beannacht mar bíon daoine ag éirí ar cén beannacht atá agaí in Gaeilge agus beidir go gurí mé béirlisteach an freisin na daoine dacht. Many times people ask me to teach them a little blessing in Irish or a little phrase like hello or how are you and things like that, and people usually go with díobhaid, but I tend to go with ein scéal because life is about scéalta or scéalta. And the language is a very, very, very big part of our scale. And when we ask people in scale, we're finding out who they are and we're giving respect to them. And I'm very conscious of a lot of things people said before. Who do we include? And inclusion is a huge topic in America and around the world at the moment, that we need to respect each other. And so, ní bheadh me seo an seo beidir gan na teachtá. Ní bheadh muidena an seo gan na dúchasaí America agus na daoine a bhí an seo róine. So, ever a hen an beannacht atá agam ná ein scéal. So if anybody wants to try a wee bit of Irish, you might start by going ein scéal to anybody you meet. That means, do you have any story? And then how we came to cad a háir in the pandemic and cheiste chuirtúirm lena mar rai. Agus ordhfuil de Ard O'Neill an sin gahar an angel tá sin uachtarán ar chun na Gaeilge an sin fi láchar léchar fad tá go leor léchar. Ní lá agam leis na léchar ar fad a luach tá neartach a ban. So chuir mar rangana ar siúl beag nach chuile láid sa teachtain. So céir de chlúdaí mar ar as Gaeilge ar Zoom 65 dáin, 3 héic slabhar, 5 scéal, obair arach leor nua, córa go leor, pap Gaeltachtaí, deir seachtain na Gaeltachta le timpeall 135 freastal ar Saoirneasca ar líne. Céalaí nua an grúpa agin ag chur físne ar fáil ar líide go mbeadh na daoine nach raibh an dul go dtí na céailthe in an na rincí a tleachta ar líne. Mar is féidir linn is ní agus just an rud gachaíthe bheith cainsle le daoine ar líne. Spragan sé. And I'll go back a wee bit to English for those who are lost. For someone like me to go online, to be able to talk to people, and they came in droves from all over the world, from Greece, from Italy, from South America to learn Irish. What that does to us, to give us a little jolt to tell us how important our language is. We are so grateful for all of those with their heart and soul into it. And sometimes maybe we don't identify enough how important Irish Americans are. And sometimes we might think that they're not real Irish. I have been inspired by so many people here, people who have learned the language and raised their children in Irish. We should never estimate how much people feel connected. And another thing is that we may have our stereotypes and think that people are red-haired and freckled, but the truth is we live in a new world. And people who are Irish, and for me, an Irish person is anybody who wants to be, who respects the culture. We have to learn to include them all in and to learn from each other.
So, Katrina, well, ever tam a bugger, eh?
Yeah, sin me se gcóí caiint tá brón ar faoi sin. A gur míl maithagaí.
No, look, tá sogat Golard Vasocum Hien Erdakojibra. Everybody in Ireland respects the wonderful work you've been doing. You have a great reputation right on both sides of the Atlantic. So I want to thank you for being part. I want you to be thank you for being with us. So Cogarja, so Katrina Weaver, Slán go fáil, Tor Arad Chin, Tugam Lich McCree. Group 5, Turlock McConnell. You should be in here presenting this, so you should. You should be here. What are you doing over there? Tell us about your latest Frederick Douglass project.
All right. Well, nobody can do it better than you, Marcin. Fortunately, I'm working with the great Christine Keneally. We're getting ready to launch a series of 10 programs in May and June. Really starting off with, this happens to be the 175th anniversary to commemorate when the famine, when the blight hit Ireland. And it also marks the first time that Frederick Douglass went to Ireland and brought the word of abolition to Ireland, although it wasn't a new world in Ireland, because Daniel O'Connell was probably one of the greatest abolitionists worldwide. So anyway, we're running out these programs, and they're all free and they're all on Zoom. Zoom is great. I love it. We can all get together. We could just hear our language expressed so beautifully there by that last speaker. So that's one that's coming up that we're very excited about. Also, Marcin, up in Derry, coming in June, I'll be part of a conference there, again online, from Brooklyn to Derry. Makes sense these days. And we're going to be talking about a great hero of the Northwest, Bishop Edward McGinn, who was, again, a great hero during the famine. So the famine is my interest because it all connects to the famine. All history connects to the Irish famine for us in America to a great extent. But there are plenty of other topics. And I find that with Zoom and with online programs, we can explore everything. The key for me is we live in the solution, not the problem. And the solution is Zoom, online.
Turlock McConnell, you're a living legend, writer, producer, actor, so much else. Thank you for all you do for Irish American, absolute pillar of the Irish American community. Brian O'Donovan is with us. I know I can't see him on his camera, but maybe we'll come to Brian maybe afterwards. We will speak to our two friends in Philadelphia. Sean McManaman, who I may have met. I think I may have met Sean McManaman in Philadelphia, and I don't think I met John Nolan, but they're both stalwarts of the Commodore Barry Arts and Cultural Centre in Philadelphia, which has been closed for much of the time. I think it's back open to 25%, a quarter capacity. You had a mass for Bloody Sunday. Thank you very much for doing that this year. But you've managed in Philadelphia to keep the flag flying and keep spirits high. So I don't know if I'm with John and Sean McManaman. So Sean McManaman's with me?
Yes.
And John Nolan's with me? No, John Nolan's not with me. Sean, so
John Nolan will.
Well, look, listen, congratulations on all you're doing. Tell us about how open the centre is, how the Commodore Barry Centre, it's every night, it's every week, it's 25%. What's happening?
Yeah, well, again, thanks to the Irish Echo, we accept this award on behalf of all the people that have helped us out to keep the place going during this epidemic. We came to a crucial point last July when we didn't really know if we were going to be around if this epidemic kept going. But the response we got from the local community was unreal. To think that from the physical building itself to the unions, contractors who came in, as we said, we'll make it the future to facilitate our future needs. The Irish Centre is rather unique. Last year we were going to be booked up to the help of John Nolan, the manager there, and that we had events booked, summer classes, summer schools, and then the epidemic stopped the whole thing. So in the meantime, we decided we would go ahead and get union help to put the place for the needs of the future, putting in Wi-Fi, upgraded all our energy, new energy systems, lighting systems, so that we can meet the needs of our future. The Irish Centre is unique in itself that we have all the Irish music, from bagpipers to the dancers, the Mayo Balls, the Donegal Balls, and Conor Lamb. I know where your family came from, their next village. We are involved with the neighborhood as well. It's a multicultural. We have everything there. We are now meeting with our. We have African American dance that we're able to facilitate the ballroom for, and we have a group, the Brazilian drummers, coming in. So we are becoming the Irish Centre, but we're able to reach it out to other cultures, which makes it an even more interesting and vibrant centre.
Well, look, it's a melting pot. Congratulations to you and to John. I hope you heard Congressman Lamb mentioning you by name at the start of the event. We'll play it back if you didn't. Keep up the good work in Philadelphia. An event like this isn't complete without Philadelphia being represented, so thank you very much. Brian O'Donovan's up in Boston, out walking. Brian, you're sort of another legendary figure. Your Celtic Sojourn is a radio staple in Boston, I presume around the world now. And I know music is not only in your veins, but is right through your entire family. But how are things up in Boston? And how's the Celtic Sojourn going? Congratulations.
They're pretty. Thank you so much, Martin. Thank you so much. I was listening to everybody there, but got to run in. It's my only time to get a run in before working all day tomorrow.
Good for you.
You can hear me okay?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Okay, well, it's great. It's just absolutely marvelous to be listening to the others, quite frankly. That's what I'm most pleased about tonight, is to be listening to such talent that's out there and such dedication to Irish culture. I often say here that I'm just the messenger of a very rich culture, lucky to have the platform that is public broadcasting here in Boston and beyond. But the only thing that breaks my heart a little is that under normal circumstances, we'd be all together and we'd be getting to make new friends and sharing all of the efforts that come from such a variety of parts of Irish culture. And congratulations to you, Martine, and all of the people involved in this. I'm certainly honored to be a part of it. Honored to be just the messenger, and really looking forward to, hopefully we can all connect and share resources and ideas moving forward post-pandemic. It's going to be an interesting time, and as the saying goes, it's an ill wind indeed that blows no good. So I'm looking forward to some good coming out of this.
Well, and let everybody know that you're absolute heart and soul of the Irish American community in Boston. People can check out a Celtic Sojourn. Keep up the good work. We have a quota in this, and all these awards events have to one person from Cork. So our quota has been
absolutely one person from Cork. I even though I went for a run, I brought my medal. I'm wearing it proudly tonight here at Fresh Pond.
Okay, listen, go
thank you so much again.
Thank you. Thank you. Maura Mulligan, Giadich, Conas Atatu, Ta Ahasarm, Tu Akalos, Cogarges, Ave Len Anocht, Banella is Mayo. Tell us about the Call of the Lark, Maura. Maura, you're muted. You're muted.
Okay.
Well done.
Féidir leat mé a chlaisteáil
As féidir agus Giadich siad a bheith.
Scríb mé Call of the Lark agus annig sé maithir an síl ní bliain ó hin inis. Bhain mé an tainna bhas dul an seachas an siúd an léamh agus rudí mar sin, so is brálum an Gaeilge agus chomá leis sin an dásan.
So agus tá tú a glacu rangana, tá rangana dáis go ré agad in sa farc.
Sé tá is gur catam beag an béle chu seaú am go chéile freisin. So tá méid mú a rang Gaeilge in New York Irish Centre i Long Island City. Hasam mu an sin agus gur a hánig an pandemic dámanta Darimid go Zoom. Now ní ra éon clachtar behagam Zoom, í mé trína chéile ar fé pí a fada ach tá fearrig aber ag an New York Irish Centre a bhenam Ryan McNally agus thug sé cauda lum, so sinneachí ra mé an leanúin sa rá leis an deis na rangani. So I was just saying that I learned how to do Zoom while I was teaching. I started the class at the New York Irish Centre face-to-face, of course. And then when I went, I wanted to continue. And so Ryan McNally helped me to get through Zoom. And Martin asked about my book, Call of the Lark, that came out in 2012. and it's a memoir, and it's still alive, believe it or not.
Good.
So my life in the Franciscan order and my life as a child in Mayo.
Well, look,
So
Maura, it's absolutely fantastic, and you know you're so multi-talented as well. The Irish Centre in Long Island City is another great treasure of Irish America. We wish you well in the time ahead. You were writing recently in Irish in the Irish Echo. I hope to see more of that. It was wonderful to pick up the Echo and see your vaccine story in it. So Cóg Argus agus gur céad mai higat. Slán go fáil.
Gur míle maithagad an or more than
Slán,
behan shot.
slán,
Gur maithagad
slán.
a warting.
For Maura Mulligan, then Niall O'Leary. Niall O'Leary, I think the pandemic was made for you. Once it hit, you were just like, you were out of the traps. Architect, dancer, teacher, world champion Irish dancer, All Ireland champion Irish dancer. Now you're putting on shows. You're unstoppable, unstoppable. And we've really enjoyed your company on Zoom and other ways during the pandemic. Niall, how are you?
On a war fad, Martin. Going to be a Bogut and Gradam show.
Fault you
so much. It's just a wonderful honour to get the award. And we've been basically trying to keep everything going. The architecture, the music. We're back doing our Thursday night Irish Culture Night event in Paddy Riley's. I'm also teaching for the Irish Music School of Chicago now virtually. And the dancing, we've kept it going as best we can. Our professional dance troupe, the Niall O'Leary Irish Dance Troupe, got to perform some corporate gigs in March on Zoom. And we had to pre-record the footwork into the music, which was a bit of a challenge, but we did it. And our dancing school, luckily enough, got to perform live on television on St. Patrick's Day morning, and then we were also performing at a live event in Chelsea Market. And we've many dancers who've been taking classes. Some have come back, people who moved away, and they're now taking classes on Zoom. And we've a big event coming up with the Irish Arts Centre, the New York City Irish Dance Festival, on Sunday, May the 2nd at 2 p.m. We've been working hard on that, putting together loads of videos of, and there's some great dance performances from other groups as well. So that'll be something to look forward to, Sunday, May the 2nd.
So listen, I want to say to people, it doesn't really do you justice speaking when your talent's in your feet. So it is, young man. But one of the most astonishing performances I ever saw was outside the Irish Rep. Must have been maybe 2018, maybe 2019. And you danced in the street, and it was absolutely inspirational, mind-blowing. So check it out, check Niall O'Leary out on YouTube, invite him to your corporate gig. Niall, thank you very much. We're going to move on. We have an hour on this video. Can I thank Turlough, Maura, John and Sean in Philadelphia, Brian O'Donovan out running, walking in Boston, and Niall O'Leary. Thank you very much, folks. Keep the faith. Keep up the great work. Slán go fáil. Slán. Thank you. Aer Lingus, one of our sponsors. Thank you for coming back, folks. It's been stunning, the talent of the honorees we had tonight, and not only that, but their ability to do so many things, and not only to be great artists, to be good art practitioners, but also to have stepped up during the pandemic in really fantastic ways, really rushing to the front. There are people who rush towards the flames to try and help others during this cursed pandemic. I'm going to be joined by my next group, which is Helen O'Leary in Pennsylvania, Ken O'Malley. Ken O'Malley is out on the West Coast, probably Ventura, Santa Barbara, somewhere like that. Our dear friends up in Minnesota, Natalie Nugent O'Shea, Cormac O'Shea, superstars. Kieran O'Reilly and Charlotte Moore, superstars again. Elizabeth O'Reilly from Maine. I hope Elizabeth O'Reilly is with us as well. A great artist up in Maine. And the great thing is that I'm not really sure who's who, but I do know that's Kieran O'Reilly. I'm not sure, but we'll work it out. So Kieran, listen, thanks for being part of this, because you're very busy. I mean, your place has been closed down. You're probably in the Bahamas. Relaxing. You know how proud we are of the Irish Rep. Hope to see it back with you and Charlotte. It's in absolutely safe hands. It is not only a great jewel in the crown of Irish America, it's a jewel in the crown of everybody Irish, the entire diaspora, all 60, 70, 300 million, whatever it is out there. And we're really proud of what you've done. And it breaks our heart that your theatre's dark. But Charlotte, Charlotte, we're going to talk to you, Charlotte, because Kieran, I've spoken to Kieran before, and you're maybe the only people tonight who's received the President Higgins's, the President of Ireland's Distinguished Service Award, which is, you know, listen, I run a lot of awards events, but I'm willing to acknowledge that receiving an award from the President of Ireland is as good as it gets. So, Charlotte, how are you?
Oh, it's nothing to this.
Well, that's what I would say too. But listen, well, anyway, I want you to know how proud. Charlotte, how are you? When will we see the Irish Rap open again? She's on mute.
You're on mute, Charlotte.
When will we see you again, Charlotte?
You're on mute. You need to unmute yourself.
So, Kieran, the question's going to you, and then we'll come back to you.
There I
Okay.
am.
Well
I just want to say that Kieran O'Reilly is wearing my medal.
Wow.
And I'm very upset about it. I'm in St. Louis, Missouri, and I'm coming back in a couple of weeks to do our annual gala. I haven't been to the city for a year. I miss you all. I don't believe I got to see Turlock and Maura and my pals, and Kieran is sitting there in my office, and I'm very, very jealous.
Well, listen, Charlotte, thank you for being with us. A gentleman from St. Louis, Missouri will be with us shortly, a man called Eamon Wall. Kieran, when will we see this Irish Rap open? Maybe this year?
Yeah, no, we're hoping, you know, that come the fall that we'll be starting to ease our way back in. We've been keeping going with productions, full productions online that we've been doing, and it has been really heartening for us all, because we've been bringing the theatre into people's living room and in people's living rooms, and we will certainly continue that until people can get back and get the bums into the seats on the theatre that we all need.
Well, you know, we respect and love you very much. So both of you, Charlotte, Kieran, great to see you. Now, I want to see the next superstars from St. Paul, Minnesota, on the stage at the Irish Rap. So Natalie and Cormac are up in St. Paul. They have made sure at the Celtic Junction Arts Centre, which is absolutely phenomenal Irish centre with a link back to Armagh, a link back to Ireland and our dear friends in Enoch Waka there, which is unprecedented, unparalleled in Irish American. So the depth of the work they do in St. Paul is absolutely fantastic. The scale of the work they do, but of course, Natalie, you kept going during the pandemic. You kept going, stronger than ever.
We did. We kept going. One of the secrets, of course, we're a kind of a two-horse institution, and if I can't do it, Cormac can. If he can't do it, I can. So we became a production house. Really, we settled into video work and started to produce a lot of our local community. The artists, we came together and did full-on stage productions and released some of them as we went on. We are doing the Social Justice Series, which is part of the event we did with Armagh. We focused on the BIPOC voices, on Native American voices, and we've got another one coming up that's going to focus on LGBTQIA voices to really try and to raise those and to give them a platform and to give them a moment to talk about their issues and how they relate to Irish culture. And then, of course, what we're mostly buried in is building an outdoor stage. So we have a gorgeous 60-foot mural that is on the south side of our building, and Cormac actually had to dust off the sawdust so he could come here and join us tonight, because he's been building the stage outside.
It's the complexion. The Irish complexion's gotten lots of sun this week.
I'm pale. He's got all the sun. So we're going to keep our community going. It really is everybody coming together to do that. The dance school, the music school, the theater work. We have a tap show. That's part of our organization, and we're producing a concert tomorrow night. Really great music coming out on live stream, but we'll be outdoors shortly.
Well, we have no doubt you used the word reinvention, and it's on, like no one else. You reinvented your offering, and it's been fantastic. But you and Cormac need to be involved in performing with people. So we want to see this stage. I mean, you're both fantastic, you know, and you're both people. So Cormac, when will this damn stage be finished? It's not going to be finished if you're in here talking to me.
Exactly. No, our first show is going to be on May 15th. We have a local band called the Wild Colonial Boys. We did a little outdoor series. The only kind of live concerts we did last year were in September. We did a live series, and they were kind of the headliner of a 12-act, 3-day series. We're not going quite as big as that in May, but we have a couple of other artists that are going to perform earlier in the day, and then the Wild Colonial Boys are coming back. They're just a great variety of trad and sing along, and it should be a lot of fun. And we'll live stream that show as well. Well, but the outdoor stage is coming together.
Well, look, I appreciate that. You know, we have huge respect for what you've done up in St. Paul. Owen McKiernan, of course, a great hero in Ireland as well. You know, we don't like praising dubs. You know, in fact, you know, we had a Cork man on earlier on. That sort of stretched it. But we want to thank you for all you've done. You're a river dance veteran and superstar as well. So, Natalie and Cormac, thank you very much. Keep up the good work, and I hope to see you in St. Paul at some stage. Good luck. Good luck. We're going to go to me and to Elizabeth O'Reilly. Elizabeth, you've had a very interesting lockdown because you've been painting. Elizabeth O'Reilly, you've enjoyed. You've been able to paint during the lockdown.
I'm trying to unmute. Yeah.
Yeah, you're fantastic.
Oh, hi.
Hi.
Thank you. Yeah.
You've been productive.
I've been, you know, the best gift for a painter is time to paint. And so that was the one big thing we all got from the pandemic was time. So I usually teach a lot, but all my jobs finished up because of COVID. And so I went up to Maine for months to a good friend of mine and just had every day to paint. And it was terrific. And did a lot of walking. And she and I, Lois Dodd is her name, she and I will have a show next summer up in Maine in Rockland.
Well,
so it's nice to have something at the end of all that painting time to have a show.
And also in Cork, will you be able to exhibit in Cork? I know you'd planned that, Elizabeth.
Well, I'm from West Cork. I'm from Barley Cove down by Mizen Head originally. And but I don't have anything lined up for Cork at the moment. But yeah, my studio is in Brooklyn, New York. That's where I am right now. But I don't see myself going to Cork for a while until I can travel.
Well, I saw your lovely work online, so it's not the same thing. I hope to see it in a gallery, but well done. I know it's nice to be up in Maine, but it's still a challenging time to be practicing. So congratulations.
Sure.
It's nice to have some visual artists on the show with us.
Thank you so much, and thank you so much for this a great honour.
And
thank you.
Keep in touch with all those great people in the Maine Irish Heritage Centre who we love very much as well.
Okay, will do.
Good luck, Elizabeth.
Thank you.
And I think we've got our friend out in LA. Is this the famous Ken O'Malley with us as well? Ken,
Hello, Martin.
Ken, what do you call your band?
My band is called the Twilight Lords, which is a kind of a deference to the ancient O'Neill and O'Donnell of the 16th century, the final Gaelic era, again, the Battle of Kinsale, etc. The Twilight Lords, yes.
Well, we love that, but we really love the fact that on 20th of March last year, you started a concert when people were locked down, and you've been doing a concert every Sunday since.
Every single Sunday. I haven't missed one yet.
Well, that's...
and it's been great. I do it on Facebook, a live stream.
My mother used to say to me, were you at Mass? Is it like that? People say, did you do your concert today?
Yes. I'm not sure I went to Mass, but I've done the concerts every single Sunday.
Well,
and there'll be one this Sunday as well, and it's going to go on indefinitely till I lose my audience, if that ever happens.
Well, I'm sure it won't. Listen, thank you for your kindness towards me. We spoke by phone when I was going out to LA on December 19. Our dear friend John O'Malley nominated you. It's wonderful to speak to someone. It's lovely to speak to someone with the sun shining on him.
Well, actually, it's very hot. I had to find a spot here out of the sun. This is the best I can do.
Well, listen, thank you very much for being with us. Keep up the good work, and I'll be checking on you this Sunday that you do go to Mass and that you do your concert.
Yeah, it's Ken O'Malley Irish Music.
Ken O'Malley Irish Music on Facebook. Ken O'Malley Irish Music. Good luck, Ken. Slán go fóill. Keep the faith.
Thanks very much, Martin. Good luck.
Slán. Helen O'Leary, great to see you.
How are you?
Helen, what is a dye garden?
Well, I'm glad you asked. I came out to Pennsylvania for the pandemic. I teach out here at Penn State, and I co-run the Studio for Sustainability. So I planted all the colors that one might need and learned how to make pigments from them. So I pretty much grew my entire palette in my front yard. And then I got adventurous. I started touring around Pennsylvania looking for areas of destruction and industry and what have you, political issues. And I collected plants from various sites and I'd make pigments from them. So I kind of made a color map of Pennsylvania through plants and stories. So anyway, I'm working on that.
Well, that sounds...
So that's my dye garden.
Well, that sounds very exciting. And listen, you've a link to Leitrim. Are you from Leitrim originally? Or
I'm from Wexford, really, but I have a house in Leitrim. So I'm usually there some of the time. I'm usually in Jersey City and Leitrim. And
Brooklyn. So you're a much...
No, I'm not in Brooklyn anymore. I moved to Jersey City.
Well, listen, thank you for being with us. We're really lucky tonight. We've managed to feature 3 or 4 visual artists. When this is all over, people will want to see what it was about, and hopefully when we look at some of the work, whether it's landscapes or whether it's people or whether it's making trouble in Pennsylvania, that we're fear of all those things. I think it's all wonderful. So congratulations. Thanks for taking the time and patience to be with us. We're very proud of you, and I hope to see your work in the time ahead. And I think Peter McDermott from the Irish Echo may have nominated you, but keep up the good work.
He did indeed.
Okay. Thank you very much, Helen. Good luck. Good luck. I think we say cheerio now to all that group, and we are going to move on now to our next honoree, who's a Shanachie of Irish America, and to introduce the famed and famous Malachy McCourt. Here's Sean O'Dowd, the chair of the Irish American Artists and Writers, Inc.
On behalf of Irish American writers and artists, I want to send a big congratulations to all the arts and culture honorees. During this pandemic, times have been tough, unnerving, and for many of us, dealing with the loss of loved ones. You've been there with your talent, hard work, and dedication to provide us all with solace and a sense of peace during this difficult time. For that, we say, Garamahaget, for being heroes to communities on both sides of the Atlantic.
The Irish American Writers and Artists, you'll be most welcome to join us. We are not Irish, really. We are not American. What we are concentrating on mostly is your artistry. So songsters, guitar players, dancers, painters, poets, and novelists. Any art that you have, you are welcome. So our business is love of art, love of each other, and have love, life, laughter.
Sean O'Dowd, that was very, very beautiful. Well done. Sean, I think I promoted you. I'm not sure you're chair of the Irish American Artists and Writers, but you're probably the money man, I would suspect, but you're representing the Irish American Artists and Writers, Inc. Thanks for your sponsorship. Thanks for being part of it. And Malachy, it's very important with some people from Cork, but we do have one Canadian on the programme, Sean, that's you as well. But you're an adoptee of New York, but of course you're a great admirer of Malachy McCourt.
Absolutely, and it's a terrific honor to introduce Brooklyn-born, Limerick-raised Malachy McCourt tonight as the winner of Irish America's Shanachie Award. Not only is Malachy one of the founding members of Irish American Writers and Artists, he continues to be an active board member and a treasure to the association. As evidence of this, Malachy won IAWA's Eugene O'Neill Lifetime Achievement Award in 2016. Needless to say, we are very proud to call Malachy one of our own. As it relates to the arts, I'm pretty sure that Malachy has covered them all, from acting in TV and film, the author of numerous books on Ireland and all things Irish, a playwright, and continuing to be the co-host of the weekly Radio Free Erin. One recent addition to the various hats Malachy has worn over the years is that of becoming a great-grandfather. One of my favorite stories of Malachy is when he was a young longshoreman in New York City and was wandering past an Irish theater and heard a few of the actors participating in a rehearsal of a play. Malachy walked up to the director and told him, not asked him, "I can do this," to which the director asked, "What are your qualifications?" Malachy responded several moments in a very incredulous tone, "My qualifications? I am Irish." So thank you, Malachy, for the decades of providing us with various talents, not just to the Irish community, but to all those who've had the great pleasure of seeing your work.
Thank you, Sean. Malachy, it's great to see you.
And your good self. I'm lying here in a bed, as you might see. I broke a limb just before St. Patrick's Day, which the mayor of New York had designated Malachy McCourt Malachy McCourt Day in New York.
Wow.
So I went and broke my leg, was operated on Malachy McCourt Day, and I'm in a rehab for injured oldsters because I've been on the earth now about 33,000 days, which this year I will be 90, with the help of God and 4 policemen. But I have to say, I was astonished at that, and also astonished to get the Shanachie Award from the Arts and Culture and the Irish Echo. And I was wondering why I got this great award. But then I said to myself, says I, who am I to question the wisdom of the Arts and Culture and Irish Echo people? So, and also their very good taste as well. So I'm not questioning it at all. All I have to say is, gotta be Ramahagut.
Well,
so there.
Well, thank you, Malachy. I'm delighted to see that the fall did not damage your powers of speech.
Well, lying in bed is, I keep lying anyway, so I go on. But I'm the reason I've reached, the reason I'm here, the reason I'm not proud of being Irish.
No.
Now, let me explain that. It comes to, because I had nothing to do with where I was born. I could be a Muslim and a king of one of the Arab countries, but my parents did something that we can never imagine our parents doing. So I popped out 9 months later in Brooklyn, and then ended up living in Limerick. And that's where I learned about language and the beauty of it, and the way the Irish took this this kind of Germanic, savage, cold dialect, which is called English. And the Irish brought music, song, poetry, humor, tragedy, everything in the world. And the English, whose upper classes, they speak, I thought, they all sounded like they have a severe bit of constipation in their systems. And they really ridiculed the Irish for the way that we spoke with our, and they used pejorative terms to describe us. Oh, you have the gift of the gab, you say. Oh, you must have kissed the blonde stone. Hey, hey, hey. Well, we took their language and we made it our own. And that's what now listening to the people in Limerick, they would call them ignorant and stupid and uninformed, but as they spoke, they may have been uneducated, but there was a cadence and a beauty to the way that the Irish speak that no other people in the world have.
So let me interrupt Malachy McCourt to just put on record the reason why you're our Irish American Shanachie Award winner is because of your commitment to the values of inclusion, because of your commitment to the values of diversity, because of your commitment to the St. Patrick's Day for All concept and belief and parade, because you, when in the tough days after the ceasefire, you stood by the people of Belfast. You were one of the people who stood up and defended the peace process, the right of Gerry Adams to go to the US. So we owe you a debt in so many ways that you're absolutely the epitome of what we want Irish America to be. So all the books and all the writing and all the acting is fantastic, but we're presenting it to you as Malachy McCourt, a great friend of Irish American, someone we are proud to stand with and stand beside. So I'm not going to let you back in, Malachy. That said, I'll just say one last word. We have a little connection because I work on the Hannistown Hill at the bottom of the hill, and your father's buried at the top of the hill at Hannistown Graveyard, and it's just 1 mile away. And I always think of that. We had a piece in our newspaper that a lady remembers as we call the Home Help brought him out to watch the funeral of Joe McDonnell, hunger striker, died in 1981. So I presume he died maybe shortly after that. But it's a great connection between Belfast. He was from a South Derry man or Toon man. So let's keep that connection alive, and we hope to see you back dancing, Malachy. Hope to see you back dancing.
He was born in Toonbridge,
yeah,
and ended up in Andersontown.
Andersontown,
It is,
absolutely, yes.
It is that. So had I the heavens embroidered cloths enwrought with gold and silver light of the night, the light, the dark night, I would. Oh, what is it now? Anyway, I would place the cloths under your feet, but I, being poor, have only my dreams.
Yeah.
Tread softly, because you tread on my dreams.
Malachy, thank you very much. Keep the faith. Get well soon. Get well. We want to see you back on your feet.
I'm in great form altogether, even on one leg.
Good for you. Listen, thank you very much. Keep the faith. Good luck. Slán go fóill. Take care. Good luck. Get well soon. That was the famed and famous Malachy McCourt. We're so grateful to him for taking the time during his rehab. Let's get that ankle fixed. Let's get him back on the road again with Johnny Cash. You know, we need to see you back in Belfast, Malachy, in the time ahead. Our next group it's group 7, folks. 2 groups to go. Patrick Redmond, Jean Heaney and Tony Riley. Marcus, Bill Riley and Tommy McLaughlin. Oh, that's a lovely group. And of course with Marcus, so we'll have as well. And Patrick, we're going to work on your audio because we don't think it's working. So let's do the Belfast guy first. East Belfast guy first. Marcus Robinson, great to see you. You've done magnificent work. You were almost embedded at the World Trade Center since probably 2004. We're coming up to the 20th anniversary of the attack on the Twin Towers. But you're also doing wonderful other projects as well, Marcus. But 20th anniversary of the Twin Towers, you made the Rebuilding the World Trade Center, which went out on the History Channel. You've made some beautiful piece, a film of Van Morrison's 60th birthday in Belfast. What do you plan for September 21, Marcus?
Martin, first of all, it's lovely to see you again, and I wanted to just mention what a fantastic hairdo you have. I haven't seen you for so long. I'm very, very impressed. You look more artistic than any of the rest of us. But firstly, thank you very much for everyone, to you and everyone at the Irish Echo for this award, which I will really cherish, and grateful for John O'Donoghue who nominated me. But in answer to your question, it's hard to believe that it's 20 years since the events of September the 11th, and we're having this year in September an exhibition of the work I've been doing over the last 10 years or so to sort of mark that event with a sense of something uplifting about the community and the diversity of New York City. We're also bringing out a new version of the film, which will be an entirely different approach to telling the story, using sound archive from the different events that have happened over 20 years to sort of show signposts through time.
Well, Marcus, no more. That's enough. What I want to do is, because we're going to move on, I want to thank you for all you've done for keeping the link to Belfast alive in particular. You've had a tough enough year because, like Alice McDermott's family, she was talking about COVID and the experience of COVID. And we worry about you, Marcus, because you were able to visit Belfast frequently and you're a great Belfast ambassador. So keep up.
I love Belfast. I really miss it. Miss Belfast very much.
You're a big influence in all of us. We follow you very closely, and you're a great mentor and beacon for all of us in Belfast. So keep up the good work, Marcus.
Thank you, Marcin. Thanks to you for all your help.
Well, listen, keep at it. Tommy McLaughlin, Bill Riley, Sober St. Patrick is another event which has just changed the whole arc of Irish America, because we talked a minute ago about the Irish American Writers and Artists being a generally new group. Marcus, hope you're a member of that, a generally new group, but no one really thought about the Sober St. Patrick movement at all. It came out of left field and it's made a real difference, and it's challenged some of the crap that, you know, St. Patrick's Day equals drink. So better than that, you've kept it going, and it's probably a global happening. So Tommy, tell us, how are you? That's the first thing.
Hi, Marcin. Thank you so much. I'm doing very well. Very happy to be here. And it's Bill's trying to get on, so hopefully he'll join us. If not, I'll cover for us. We're doing really well, and we just celebrated Sober St. Patrick's Day 10th anniversary. I joined last year as executive director, and the show we were able to put on as a YouTube premiere really is just magnificent. We had so much fun putting it together. We had Samantha Kelly, the tweeting goddess, as our host in Ireland, also helping us out with social media. And because of her role, we had more viewers from Ireland and the UK. So we're very, very pleased with the viewership. And it continues to grow because folks can still go back and access it.
Well, look, listen, keep up the good work. We were sort of half linked into it in Belfast through the run this year.
Yes.
But it's a very important, it's a pivotal event in the Irish American calendar, that on St. Patrick's Day you can enjoy the true spirit of the day, the fun of the day, but you don't have to be deluged with the drinking atmosphere, which is not only a drinking atmosphere, but which is a get drunk atmosphere. And I think that's fantastic. I think it's fantastic. So keep up the good work. Tommy, thank you very much. And say thank you to Bill. You're going to say something else.
I will, and I wanted to say thank you to you and Conla and your team in New York. They were fantastic.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And of course, you're in New York and Marcus is in New York, but we're going to go up to Maine, and we're going to go up to Tony Riley in Maine. And Tony, our friends in the Maine Irish Heritage Centre, we definitely had somebody on earlier on. It remains one of the great treasures of Irish America. And you were nominated by Finney O'Malley, another great Labour guy from Troublemaker from Portland, Maine. And you know, we're so proud of him as well. But and it's a couple of years now. But you lost your wife Susan in a horrific accident. You lost a leg. You came back from that in a way which shows, I don't know if it's Irish character, American character, or just human character, but you came back with that, from that with the coma, I don't know, it was the coma monologues or a play about your own experience. And you've gone on, and you're really at the heart, right, of everything the Maine Irish Heritage Centre is doing. So tell us a little bit about how this pandemic has been, and part of your own, I suppose, it's always a recovery, I suppose, Tony.
Yeah. The pandemic, I mean, we were all set to start a production of Sive by John Keane. We were all ready to go, and of course the pandemic hit, and then that was it. And we were kind of lost for a little while until the center came around and they started doing the All Things Irish. And so they said, do you want to do something? So I got to do a little-known Brian Friel short play called American Welcome, which is very funny. And I got back doing that, and then we did the St. Patrick's Day parade, our virtual parade. In the past, me and another Irish actor in town would be the narrators. This year, we just did a bunch of little skits, and it turned out really very well. And now we're going to be doing our Ulysses for Beginners, which we've been doing it's an original piece. Take the entire book, squeeze it into an hour. We've been doing it for about 17 years now, and we're going to do it this year again, socially distant. So kind of exciting.
Well, Ulysses for Beginners sound like fun. Tony, tell us, what do you call your cat? what do you call your cat?
My cat?
Yeah.
Oh, where do you see him there? You look, Norton. Norton's his name.
Norton. Look.
Norton, and he's only got a half a tail, but he's a great cat.
Well, listen. Would you please give our solidarity to all our friends in Portland, Maine, but especially Finney O'Malley.
I will.
We're full of admiration for you. You've been to hell and back. And I like what you said there about, people were lost for a while because we can't put a gloss in this pandemic. It has been really knocked people for six. And the Maine Irish Heritage Centre is an example of a group that got its act together and said, this is terrible, but there's a way through it, and you're part of that. So thank you very much for that, and congratulations.
Thank you.
Keep the faith. All the best. All the best. We're up in Minnesota. Patrick Redmond. I say working on books. Of course, you're a book cover designer, and we all go into bookstores when we had bookstores when we were allowed to go into retail stores. And sometimes we glance and we look at these book covers and we're impressed, but we move on. But I take it that's an art in itself to create the book cover which speaks to the message of not only the book but of the author.
Oh, definitely. And I look at book cover design under the broad concept of brand development. And so it's not only a book, but it's an entire brand approach as well, because I'm very involved with trademark and logo design, brand identity development. And I look at each book as having its own brand identity.
Is that the same as its own soul, or is that too?
Well, in a sense, sure. Yeah. In a sense, it's like what distinguishes one book from another, one brand from another, and so on.
And you've been working on some quite noted books, I suppose. The Making of a Surgeon by William A. Nolan. Did you bring us?
Oh, right. And I do have a copy of the cover of that one right here. This is what that one looked like.
And tell me this: is that book being released again or not? Is that the?
This was a special gift edition, and some of these examples are basically pieces that I've come across from my work over the years that would be included in an exhibition. And so part of it is gathering all of this material and looking at some of them that were done either for Irish or Irish American authors or clients and so on. And one of them, you'd mentioned something about Irish related books. This is the book cover enlarged for the book, The Traditional Irish Wedding. And this was published by Wolfhound Press in Dublin in conjunction with Irish Books and Media in the Twin Cities in Minneapolis.
What's interesting about that book cover to me is there's no couple on the cover, and yet it speaks of, it's redolent of weddings and celebration and receptions and I suppose new beginnings. But why did you not think to put a couple on it? You preferred without having a couple being wed on the cover?
Oh, sure. Well, I worked closely with the publisher on that, and that was one of the ways that we determined would be a way to proceed, the publisher and the author and so on. One of the things I wanted to mention was that I was in a large city where they had an Irish gift shop, and this book was on display. And the only thing I was showing it was the cover, the cover of the book was there. And the shop was loaded with Irish merchandise. And I just thought, well, I wonder if anybody's going to just kind of stop and look at this book. Mm-hmm. And sure enough, I was kind of looking at other things in the shop, and some customers came in the shop, and I noticed they walked through the entire store until about halfway through. In the midst of the store, they stopped and they looked at that book. Of all the things in the store, that's the piece they picked up, and I think they bought a copy, but it was the cover that got their attention.
And sometimes in Europe, of course, we used to design our own currency. In Ireland, they used to have the great artist Robert Balla designed the old punt. Now it's euro across much of Europe. But are book cover designers not just taken for granted, do you think? Or do you think you are appreciated?
It depends. It's their entire competitions dedicated to book cover design and so on. But that's just one of the areas that I've worked in and continue to work in over the years. And it's a much broader issue for me, or concern in terms of design. And it relates to again, the brand. and I've done logo designs and trademark designs. Here's one that I was the lead designer for.
Oh, fantastic. Well, we know that one.
Right, and this was for the launch of the live Sesame Street touring program that went all over the world. And this is where they would have life-size or bigger than life-size characters on stage. And this was launched back in 1980. And so I was the principal designer, the designer on this particular piece, but I used the elements of the existing Sesame Street brand and then incorporated into this marquee with the word live.
Now, let me ask you another thing, because we have, 40 wonderful heroes, in my view, art heroes of the pandemic. And, when in this dreadful virus and pandemic we faced, art has really lifted people's spirits, but also found that many of the artists we've spoken to were grateful to their community, whether it's Irish American or just their local neighborhood. But of all the art heroes that we're honoring tonight, no one expressed as much thanks for all of those people who helped him or her on their journey to where they are today as you did. So tell me why that's important to you to give thanks.
Oh, thank you so much for mentioning that. I have a copy here of a page of the Irish Echo that shows the ad that you're talking about. I know you can't read it here, but I invite your viewers to look at the Irish Echo and find that 1/4 page ad that basically is an expression of my gratitude and extensive detail for many of the people who have been influential in my life and career, many of them Irish American ancestors and so on. And this particular ad focused on everything up to and through around 1971. Because I wrote a piece, it was called, or it made reference to Waterford Crystal, and I had designed an image for a commemorative Waterford Crystal, and the prize for the competition was an all-expense paid trip to Ireland. And I just recently, during COVID pandemic, wrote about that experience. And I'm hoping it will be published in the Irish Echo, but it is available online in some other formats and some other publications as well. But I think that that uplifting spirit of that writing about my experience traveling to Ireland 50 years ago is an uplifting kind of experience for people during this COVID pandemic, to be able to read that.
Well, I hope so. And I should say that the Irish Echo supplement is available online free, where people can go and they can read that entire expression of gratitude.
Right, and thank you regarding that too. Regarding the Irish Echo, there is. Sorry, there you go.
Oh, it's a beautiful page.
There is this piece in the Irish Echo that is fairly detailed regarding the kind of things that I've done during the pandemic and so on, and over the years. Related to some Irish authors, Irish clients, Irish Americans, and so on, as well as other projects, etc. But this is fairly detailed, and as you may guess, I'm a little long-winded. And rather than reading this or something like this, I hope people can read it in the Irish Echo. I think it's on page 30, and it says Patrick Michael Redmond at the top there.
Well, look, Patrick Redmond, of course, is a great Irish name.
Thank you.
Patrick, of course, is the most important of all the Irish as well. Can I thank you for being part of our not only recognition of artists, but celebration of artists, and you're a great American artist, a great Irish American artist, and we're really delighted that you were able to take part in this celebration.
Well, I am so honored, and I'm grateful to be included with so many talented artists and performers. This is a true honor for me as well. And I also want to make a mention of my father, who was a battalion chief in the fire department.
Oh,
I think somebody might mistake this for military. This is actually his firefighter.
In which city? Which city? In Milwaukee?
In the city of West Allis, Wisconsin. It's a suburb of Milwaukee.
Yeah.
And that was my late father. And I also need to mention my Irish ancestors. Looking for another photo here that I thought I had handy, but here we go. This is These are the Redmonds.
Wow, good for them.
These are my grandparents and my uncles and so on. And just wanted to at least show their pictures. And the O'Briens, the Redmonds, and the Irish side goes way back. And I also need to mention the support of my parents over the years and family, and mention the Italian side too. My mother's side was all Italian.
Good.
Sicilian specifically, and I'm sure you have many viewers who are Irish Italians or Italian Irish. I mean, that's not an unusual combination.
That's where the good looks come from. Patrick, we're not going to leave you just yet, but I want to say thank you very much. And Patrick, please show us your Irish Echo Arts Hero Medal. Congratulations.
There it is.
Drum roll. Congratulations.
Thank you.
John Patrick Redmond is a designer and a painter in Minnesota as well. Tommy McLaughlin, he's still talking to his Tommy, and Bill Riley and Tony up in Maine. Folks, that's all around America. Thank you very much. Good luck. Keep the faith. Slán go fóill. Thank you for being part of this. Thank you. Group 7. Would we? Then. So here's a Sober St. Patrick Day. It's a wonderful day of celebration in New York. Virtual this year. Wouldn't be completely virtual last year because the closure came Friday suddenly. But for my money, it's one of the best Irish American projects. Let's see a video about Sober St. Patrick Day.
I'm Robert Kearney, Chair of the Maine Irish Heritage Centre, the hub of all things Irish in Maine. With me is Parnell Terry, President of the Irish American Club of Maine. Together, we are honored to celebrate the accomplishments of Maine's own Irish arts and culture heroes, Tony Riley and Jean Haney.
Tony Riley is an acclaimed actor and founder of AIR, the American Irish Repertory Ensemble. For almost 20 years, Tony and his late wife Susan have helped share the power and beauty of Irish theater through both classical and contemporary performances. This year, his creative talents made our virtual St. Patrick's Day Parade unforgettable.
Gene Haney is the visionary behind our new virtual programming. Gene produced the Best of All Things Irish in Maine in 2020 as a powerful and entertaining way for Maine's Irish artists, dancers, and musicians to showcase their extraordinary talents during the pandemic, while also ensuring our critical fundraising efforts didn't skip a beat.
Tony and Jean, your vision and leadership in Maine allowed us to stay connected with the Irish community during the pandemic. Thanks to you both, in this most challenging of times, we've been able to expand our network here in Maine and around the globe. Gorma Agat.
If you get a chance, go to Portland, Maine and visit the former St. Dominic's Church, because it's absolutely amazing. And, you know, with a name like Parnell Terry, I suspected that there might be some Irish blood in that particular spokesperson for the Maine Irish Heritage Centre. We're going to finish off with the last group of the night. It's 1:30 in Belfast, which I think means that I've made another mess of this because it was supposed to be finished at 1 a.m. But it's also getting later on a Friday evening, and I believe that New York's opened up a wee bit and parts of America have opened up. So some of the people have been waiting patiently. I'm sure they have other things to do. So let's talk to Dr. Stack. Dr. Elizabeth Stack. They say in politics, Dr. Stack, and I know a little bit of politics, very little bit, the timing is everything. Is it true you opened your new centre just before the pandemic hit?
That is exactly right. We opened 2 weeks or probably 10 days before we closed. So, you know, I'm from Kerry, from a small town, Listowel in County Kerry, and we bounced back. And so we were able to use the time that we were closed to renovate the new space, and we had been granted a grant from the Irish government to build a thatched cottage and a tenement apartment. So we were busy little beavers, you know, on lockdown, and then we transitioned to online and held concerts and talks and lectures and all kinds of things online. So even though we were closed, you know, we were very busy, and it's been a strange time, but a good time for, I think, our community. That, you know, even though we were sort of gone, we were present, you know.
Well, just for the record, because we had some of the legislators on earlier, you are the absolute phenomenon in Albany. They're very lucky to have got you from Fordham. You've been like a lightning bolt to the Irish American community there. They've really sprung it into life. It was always very strong, but the programme you put on during the pandemic, pre-pandemic, is absolutely revelatory and deserves, you know, has praise. Serves has praise.
Yeah, well, you know, I think as I say, I'm from Listowel in County Kerry, and culture and heritage and literature is in our blood there. I grew up next door to John B. Keane's pub. And so I think when we were miserable and looking for toilet paper and solace and consolation and all kinds of things last March, you know, it was the arts and culture that brought us back. And so I love the solidarity of the community. You know, to think that there's 41 organisations nominated tonight across the country, you know, is amazing. And it just shows you, I think the one word that you can apply to Irish people or in Irish Americans is resilience. And, you know, we have proven ourselves not only to be innovators and to be strong in our culture and our heritage, but to be innovative and resilient in how we share that. And it's very important to the museum. We've been in existence since 1986. And we were not going to let COVID, you know, knock us off our platform.
Well, it would be take more than a pandemic to upset a Kerry woman. So listen, thank you very much, Elizabeth. Dr. Stack, thank you very much.
The honour of being nominated. Thank you.
Thank you. Freya Titland from New York. So many different events you have founded, including the Midnight Film Festival, and our friends in Queens were just really delighted that in the darkness of the pandemic that you didn't stop, that you held so many events, and you're a busy person as well. I mean, you're on Orange is the New Black, so you do some acting, you do some modelling, but you make things happen. You make things happen. But tell us about this Midnight Film Festival. Does it happen at midnight?
It doesn't happen at midnight. We have some events that do go a little bit late. And the name for Midnight Film Festival actually came about because growing up, my father used to say nothing good happened after midnight. So I had to be home early. So instead, I decided good things would happen with Midnight. But I'm very fortunate. The Midnight Film Festival is going on their 4th year. It happens every January in Long Island City, Queens. And it would not happen without the efforts from my friends, especially my friend Tamara, who's listening. Hi, Tamara. But what we did during lockdown, when things were in the beginning and very scary and uncertain, and we weren't going anywhere, we were afraid to go outside, I said, well, the whole point of Midnight Film Festival is to have a community of creatives come together. And so I did a 48-hour quarantine film challenge, and you could have a team of any size. And the theme was just lockdown. And there were about 13 teams of families that have never acted before, dads getting behind cell phone cameras. I mean, it was a really great time and really encouraging to watch all of these people come together and make some art in a time where things were a little bit scary. So I'm very grateful for that.
Well, look, thank you. And I'm sorry that we kept you waiting tonight, but you had, I think, an Irish grandfather who was a storyteller, and I think the apple didn't fall too far from the tree. You're not a bad storyteller yourself either. And of course,
thank you.
But you're also a writer, you're a director and a filmmaker. So look, all the people in the Irish Echo send you warm greetings. Keep up the good work, and we hope to be able to cooperate with you in the time ahead and promote everything you're doing.
I hope so. Thank you so much for allowing me to be here with all of these amazing people.
That's all. Listen, thank you. Good luck. Barry Stapleton, why is the Ward Music Archive in Milwaukee? Why isn't it in New York like everything else?
Well, it's associated with Milwaukee Irish Fest, which was started 40 years ago. And so we're actually more than a festival. That's one of our taglines. And so we have a lot going on here. We have a music school, a summer school, foundation. So we have a lot of things going on, and the archives is just one of them. It started with Ed taking a trip to the Irish Traditional Music Archives in Ireland, and he said, looked around and actually found his grandfather's book and thought, if they're doing it over there, who's doing it in America? And came back, and the Irish Fest Board supported that, and we're coming up on 30 years now with the Award Irish Music Archives.
And you've published some music, of course. You produced CDs.
We published some CDs. We also, our big thing is trying to, our digital platforms, trying to get video out to people. And that was a big thing that we did over the pandemic, was trying to get as much as we could out, whether it was tunes, videos. And the other thing that we did was kept in touch with all the musicians that we built relationships through the years, because I think a lot of them, especially emerging artists, it's such a tough industry anyhow. And even though the gigs were gone, we just want to let them know that they had nothing to do with their talent and nothing to do with their future potential. They just had to survive this and come out the other side and get playing live music again. And just as the title of your show, the show must go on, it will. And so all of these musicians will be back, artists will be back. And so we're really looking forward to that day. But yes, for the archives, it was important for all of the online adventures, I'm sure as everybody here has experienced. It was important. And I want to thank you, Martin, and the Irish Echo for this honor. And of course, congratulations to all the other honorees who are so well deserved.
Well, look, Barry, thank you for being with us. I get the right under Belfast legislation. I can declare where the capital of Irish America is. And it wasn't Buffalo earlier tonight, but actually, people need to go to the Irish Fest. It's remarkable. The number of people there, the volunteerism, the good spirits, the Irish language, the literature, the dance, the music, the several stages occupied at the same time. So the reality is that Milwaukee is the capital of Irish America, until the next event at least. So Barry, keep up the good work, and thank you for everybody at the Irish Fest for all you do. Eamon Wall.
Yes, here I am.
So from Oven Lane to Sun Prairie in Search of Irish America. What a great book. What a great book. But what's Rory Gallagher doing in it?
Well, because the blues, of course, comes from America and comes over to Ireland, and it's taken on by Rory Gallagher, and Rory Gallagher gives an Irish gloss to the blues.
Wow.
And I think the whole point of the book is that there's always a crossing back and forth between Ireland and America. It's not just things coming from Ireland to America, but it's American culture the American world coming to Ireland. So that's why Rory Gallagher is there.
Well, so tell people what you're doing out in St. Louis, Missouri, Eamon.
Well, I work at the University of Missouri St. Louis, and part of my job is to provide Irish programming for the community. So we do concerts and lectures and readings and teach classes. And we've been doing that for the last 20 years. And we also have a study abroad program in Galway every summer that we hope will begin again next year.
Well, I'm going to read the name of the book again, From Alvin Lane to Sun Prairie in Search of Irish America, because people should order it in bad. And it's a magnificent book. I'm a great fan of Rory Gallagher. I saw him play the Grosvenor Hall in Belfast, probably 74 or 75. I kept the stub for many years and then donated it to the little museum they had. You have another book from the Shinay Cafe to the Black Hills, perhaps?
Yes, and that's an older book, and a lot of the material in that book is concerned with the new Irish who arrived in New York in the 1980s. And so a different generation of immigrants. And nowadays in Ireland, of course, the new Irish are people who have arrived in Ireland from other parts of the world.
And in your commitment to inclusion and diversity, you very much epitomise those values of what were called the New Irish then. I don't call them New Irish anymore. You're not as new as you were, Eamon. But
okay.
But we
and thank you very much, Martine, and to Peter McDermott for nominating me, and to everybody at the Irish Echo. It's a great honour.
Well, look, we'll do that. And earlier on tonight, someone else was from St. Louis, Missouri. No, it was Charlotte from the Irish American Reps out in St. Louis at the minute. So maybe you will meet up. Listen, thank you very much for being with us. We've kept the very best wine to the last because Caitlin Warbellow and Chris Raney. So, Caitlin, is it Chris Raney or Chris Rainey? Chris Raney? Are you muted? Caitlin, have you muted yourself? See.
Oh, hello.
So,
can you hear me?
Yes, but you need to tell us first, is it Caitlin or Catchleen? It's Caitlin, I think. You're born in Alaska?
Yes, Caitlin Warbellow and Chris Raney.
Well, I mean, so you're just typical of people on this show tonight. I mean, you're so multi-talented. You do so many things. You are on a Broadway show. You play the violin, the fiddle on that show. Chris Raney is an assistant musical director or conductor. But instead of crying into your beer when Broadway closed, you set up Tune Supply, which is absolutely fantastic. So tell us what, at this hour of the night or this late Friday evening, tell us what Tune Supply does.
Sure, yeah. Unfortunately, Chris can't be here tonight because he's actually what we call in the bubble, which means that he's in a COVID quarantine in Midtown getting ready to film Come From Away for a film version. But what Tune Supply is, we got home after our Broadway show closed, and I was pretty distraught because I knew that all of my colleagues were going to have trouble, especially with St. Patrick's Day gigs being canceled. And so within 24 hours, we set up a website to help create paid work for the trad music community. We started by thinking, if we put $10,000 into musicians' pockets through this initiative, we'll have done a great job. Well, it went on just as the pandemic has gone on for much longer than we thought it was going to go on. And as of right now, we've put over $150,000 into about 260 musicians' pockets. Not each, I wish that was the case, but total. And it's still going. We're probably going to continue even after the pandemic is done. So we're really honored to be here on this program tonight. And I want to say thanks to Dan Neely for nominating us as well.
But you've done at least 66 sessions, but I mean that's taken over your life. So I hope they haven't cut you out of the film version of the show. But you really have committed yourself this year. You're full in. You spent a year doing this.
Yes. In fact, from January 10th to April 10th, we did not take a day off. And we were staying up until 4 a.m. every night working on Tune Supply. After we finished bringing the Alaska Folk Festival online earlier this month, we both kind of just crashed because it's been a lot of work. So we're taking a little bit of a break, although I actually go to the bubble to start filming the film version in a few days. Yeah, they didn't cut me out yet.
well, listen, come from away. I know that, I'm sure you had some thoughts, maybe in some late nights, why am I doing this? So on behalf of everyone, because I've seen some of your wonderful work in the very high production values, can we say thank you to you for doing that, for perhaps sacrificing some of your own work you could have done to make sure that other people prosper. It has been a tough year for artists and musicians all around the world, perhaps tougher in America than it has been in Ireland, because we've had, I think, quite good supports. But thank you very much. We're going to close with you. Give our regards to Chris. We're going to say to Freya, to Dr. Stack, to Barry, to Eamon and Rory Gallagher at St. Louis, and to Caitlin. Good night and thank you very much. Keep up the good work. Thank you. Thank you. Good luck. We are going to draw. We're going to draw a ballot. Thank you, Caitlin. Oh my goodness me. So we for all those who spent $9, and that was not wonderful. Caitlin said she put money in the pockets of artists, and one of the ways the Irish Echo survives is people buy the paper or support the supplement or spend $9 on a ticket. And our dear friends in Aer Lingus very kindly said they would sponsor 2 return flights to Ireland when it's safe to go, when it's possible to travel again. And I've just drawn the winner here. I want to thank our sponsors before we leave: Culture Ireland, Culture Éireann, Aer Lingus, AOH, Ancient Order of Hibernians, Forest na Gaeilge, Irish American Partnership, the Irish American Writers and Artists Inc., and the NI Bureau. And the winner of the 2 tickets is Joan Navarra. Joan Navarra. So we will be contacting Joan Navarra, and hopefully we will see you in Ireland in the time ahead. Can I finish by thanking the artists who took part tonight, the special guests, some of the great luminaries of Irish America. There is a poem by Padraig Pearse, which is I have not garnered gold, and really what it means is that he prioritised other things. I have not garnered gold. The fame I found hath perished. And when I heard all these artists tonight, really they've dedicated themselves to others to try and make sure that they keep our spirits high during the pandemic, that they ensure that Irish America will come out of this as strong or stronger, as connected as ever, as resilient as ever, as ebullient as ever. So I want to thank the artists. I want them to thank our side, to thank the Irish Echo team in New York, Ray and Peter and Madeline and Tracy and Mary Finch. I want to thank the Iceland Events team here in Belfast, Conla, famous Conla and Amy. I want to thank Navac, who in the studio. It's very early morning now in Belfast, and they all dedicated themselves to making sure that this celebration went on. So from the 2021 Arts and Culture Celebration and Awards, on behalf of the Irish Echo, EOI, Torige Arad, Evein, there is light at the end of the tunnel. We will beat this pandemic, and we'll see you in America, and we'll see you in Ireland in the time ahead. Gurmoigah, Slán go fóill, EOI.
Understand it's hard to get up in the morning time. It's 9 to 5, you know, in your life, feeding someone's dreams, which is on the side. I get it, I understand it. Weight on your shoulder got you on your knees. Air's getting thinner, but it's hard to breathe. It's no surprise that you left this alone, all because you are enough. You are enough. Love yourself more. You are. So right now, I'm gonna introduce you to someone, and he goes by the name Jordan Let's go.
See, they envy that our names in the conversation. I don't need them, man, for no validation. Doing it for clout is an understatement. Them man are doing it for numbers, I'm not being patient. I have to rate my team before they ever rate it. No yes men around me, them man be the fakest. It's when you do the best that man I wanna take it. They never wanna see the vision when you haven't made it. They just wanna see the vision just to come and take it. When you climbing up the ladder, they just wanna shake it. They can never take my crown cause I say I'm the greatest. They can never take me down cause I love to embrace it. I just love my skin is brown and I say I'm the greatest. Yeah, yeah. I just love my skin is brown and I say I'm the greatest.